Peace, peace, peace. What's up, everybody? Draco, what to do? Today we're about to do a reaction video of a reaction on Dr. Umar Johnson, and should be fun. And know it could be funny to me, hilarious, because this guy is hilarious. Um, Little brief history. Before I found the Kwame Tube, I been in this sector called Umar Johnson sector. And in the Umar Johnson sector, we been reaction videos. Where I used to be in the chats, laughing my ass off, joking around, meeting and greeting people and the likes. Told somebody one of his mods blocked me for a political uh, opinion that I had. I remember she went back and forth with me. She blocked my ass out of this chat, and created another account, started over. But if you're watching this, letting on it, unblock the Sacred Grove, please, because I coming back to laugh. All right. So since I can't really type in the chat, I'll do a reaction video to it. So I'm about to listen to this earlier today. I listened to about 30 minutes, and I stopped because I said I want to react. I want to talk about it. I was going to do a meditation video and let people fall asleep on that. I'll do that tomorrow. But today we're gonna laugh. We're gonna have some fun. So without further ado, let's begin. So it's Lenon Honor versus Dr. Umar Johnson. He could be doing most of the commentating. I'm just be piggybacking of what he's saying. Heck money salute. Simply Erica, what it do? So let's begin. It's a long ass video. I'm gonna be fast forwarding a good bit of it, but we'll get the good parts. I ain't really had no about content wars until I saw these videos back in the day that been that he dropped nuclear bomb on that boy with that documentary he made. That should be like episode of American Greed. So I know when it come to content wars with the editing skills I got, I can drop one of those bombs on the nigga real quick and continue moving on. What I want to do, make a documentary and make his ass infamous. But that only for dogs. You don't use those tactics on those dogs. He even make songs. He even make songs about him. So that was called content wars back then. Like 10 years, he promised the school. He get to school 4 years ago, and the school still ain't open. And we learn a lot of backdrop from this video. He always goes thorough in his reactions. Let's start right there. When does something become a scam If I make a promise, turn it up. That's all the way up. Let me see.
Everyone was so excited to watch the trophy.
It real is very low
Being here, I appreciate it. Make sure I hit
because
the like
that's all the
button
way
if
up
you
on.
here. What I'd like to do today is to go back into the archive, and we're going to watch the
Okay, let me turn off my
school
computer.
announcement video. I remember it like it was Monday, and everyone was
Back
so
down
excited.
memory lane we go.
Umar Johnson followers, and I get it because every once in a while he'll throw something your way. And that's like a bowl of fruit.
Let me ask the
You've
question:
been out.
If you, if I make a promise to you that I'm gonna produce something like a school for children, and you make a donation on investment, how long do I gotta go and not have that thing produced before it becomes a scam?
And it's been hot. You're dehydrated. You haven't eaten all day, and you're hungry. And Umar comes along and promises you a bowl of fruit. He says it's going to be delivered to you, say 10 months. So you wait it out. You wait 10 months. 10 months passes, he changes the date. 6 months passes, he changes the date again. 3 months passes, and this goes on and on and on for 4 years. And on that fourth year, you realize that there wasn't anything in that bowl in the first place. It was just an illusion. It was a pipe dream. It was a fantasy. It was head movies. And all along the way, you supported this person, and you had your hopes and dreams that he was going to bear.
Now I believe in manifestation, believing in what you got with faith, what you desire, believing that you have it, those good things. But after this long time, somebody playing games.
Those fruit. Well, the school, that's what the school is. And here we are all these years later, and so many people were excited 4 years ago, but that's what you call running game. That's what we used to call it back in the day. They may call it something else these days, but where I come from, we call it running game. He ran game on you, and every once in a while he runs game. He'll throw you a little crumb to make you.
More than 4 years ago, almost when he first really started talking about the school, I sent him a message on Facebook to tell him about online technology. It'll be more feasible in these days to do it online. It'll be cheaper and a whole bunch of things I've been telling them. This before there was a Khan Academy. Now Khan Academy, the creators of that, they're millionaires now. And yeah, he could have been the first Khan Academy.
You think, oh, we got the HVAC to make you think that the school is opening on Monday. He'll throw you a little day, throw you a little breadcrumb to get you excited. He's running game. He's playing you. That's what we say. Every once in a while, something out there just to keep it going and keep it going. Well, guess what? This has been going on now for 13 years. Before we get into this, the title of this particular live stream is the truth is FDMG is not coming. You see that picture back there with Miguel Jackson there, but you see that's the large building across the street. Umar hasn't even shown the inside of that in over 3 years. He doesn't even go over there anymore. He's abandoned that abandoned building, which has the most value in terms of the purchase price of these buildings, $400,000. He doesn't even go over there anymore. That's telling in and of itself. But I want you guys to look there. You see how the windows are boarded up right above the doors and on the doors themselves? When you look up them steps, walk up those steps, well, they're still boarded up to this day, 4 years later. You know, the property actually looks worse now than it did back then. So this is just to say we're going to get into this video today where he makes the announcement and he's sitting in the corner.
That's the greatest hustle I ever seen. 13 years later, of collecting donations every day, because he still do. He on Facebook and he make videos talking about whatever history and stuff like that, and he'll ask for the donations. I guarantee y'all that people he getting something every day. He don't even got no job, so you know he eating. He need the shit to eat. So imagine 365 days in a year, damn near 13 years, and you're getting paid every day for something that you selling people.
Corner there, you see it there over there, with the yellow tie on. He's
I'm an
behaving as
Uncle
if
Man
that
hustle.
shirt is like an
That's why
official
I say that's
shirt.
the greatest
There
hustle I
is
ever
no
seen.
FDMG. Today there is no FDMG. It's a figment of the imagination, but sometimes and somehow that's enough for people to continue to believe. Now here's the thing: if you like Umar's rhetoric, what his talking points, that's cool. That's cool.
Hey, Kodak
It's
Black,
not
what's up?
necessarily my cup of tea. Sometimes he says stuff I say, oh, that's no, okay, I can get with that. But most of what he says is just him running his mouth. He does it why? To get people emotional so that they can send him money. But that's one thing. On the other hand, it's a whole other
Heartstrings.
thing when you're believing in a lie that's been going on for 13 years. At some point, you have to come to the reality of the situation and say, this is not going to happen. FDMG is not coming. And that's okay too. To give a little context, and I know I've shown this many times, back in
Back down memory lane.
2010, Umar Abdullah Johnson on his Facebook page on January 6, 2010, he posted this message. He says, promises in 2010 to begin laying the groundwork for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Pan-African School for Black Boys, specializing in learning disabilities and disruptive behavior disorders. This will be a private school, and yes, you will pay in order for your son to attend. The grand opening is set for September 11, 2013. That's almost a decade ago. This school is almost a decade late. Think about that. In 7 months, this school will be 10 years late. That's what I'm saying. If you like his rhetoric, that's one thing. But if you still believe in this right here, something you really got to ask yourself some serious questions. And a lot of people have come to the realization that the school is just a scam. Okay, and good. Okay, it's about time. All right. But for those who still believe in it, okay, there's only one good reason why you should. If you have come on board with Umar Johnson's rhetoric about the school, let's say.
The reason why I say a documentary on Umar Johnson with a atomic bomb, because I know that should put a dent in his daily pocket, his daily mind even getting, because a lot of people see that shit been getting hundreds of thousands of views quick.
Say within the last year, maybe the last, let's say.
In fact, I ain't even got no personal problem with Umar Johnson. It's just that YouTube, my analytics tell me to use Umar Johnson as a keyword. So I'm gonna do that for them.
18 months, okay, a year and a half. Okay, I get it. But if it's anything beyond that, there's enough evidence out there, and you just have to do a little bit of research. And when you come to this right here, this is enough. You see, for those of you who have been following Umar and you've been supportive of the school, you have to understand that this goes back to at least 2010. In fact, I know that he was collecting for different types of school-related projects going all the way back to 2009. You see? Yeah, and you're right. In 2010, there are children who, let's say, were 10 years old. Okay, now they're 23. In 2010, there were children who were 5 years old. Well, guess what? Now they're 18. They wouldn't even be able to go to school, even if there was a school. You see, so just to be clear, this has been going on now for 13 years. Okay, let's be clear about this. And I just want to give a little more context here, because in 2014, August 27, Umar said, no, FDMG is not open yet. Remember, he said it was going to open September 11, 2013. He was collecting money at this time. But here he says, no, FDMG is not yet open. We need to pay $2 million ASAP. He levels that to $4 million. And then he says, I'm currently principal of a public school. When and where? What school district? What was the school's name? Shouldn't there be some photos of this? Where's the year? This is nothing more than lie.
One thing you can learn from Umar Johnson again, manifestation. This man believe anything he said, he believe it, and you gotta believe it. He don't give a fuck, and he got the confidence and the shamelessness to speak it. The word Umar is a Arabic word that means orator. That's something to think about.
Nothing more. He's a principal of a public school. When and where? But what's interesting is that this was in 2014, August of 27. He also posted this in September of 2014. Due to my obligation principal, I will be unable to attend the November Haiti trip scheduled for 11/20/2014. But watch this. That was in September 2014. Right here in 2018, he says, I resigned this morning from a school at which I've served
This man content wall beast.
as a certified school psychologist for nearly 10 years. Well, if it's nearly 10 years, that would go back to what? Around 2008. How can you function as a certified school psychologist? You're serving at a school as a school psychologist, going back to 2008. And at the same time, you're also in 2014, in 2014, August, you're also a principal. You're doing both at the same time?
That always happened to me. I don't know why. At least once every time. Let me close some tabs. God damn it. Fair use. Educational purposes. Always have been too far from
the St. Paul school scam. Okay, 2014. See this? So this just gives context. I want to make sure that we give a bit of context. And then it says, I resign because I don't want their reputation harmed from all the false negative publicity circulating about me daily. The state charges also helped this decision. Okay. This was in 2018. Now, this is...
He been lying his ass off, too. He lied with a straight face.
What we're going to be getting in here to today. Okay, Umar Johnson school announcement, February 9th, 2019. This was 4 years ago. Many of you guys remember this. This is what we're going to get into tonight. Also, we have a list of promises, and I'll pull...
This man created a list of promises that he made.
This up every once in a while as we go through this. I'm going to try to limit my commentary today because the video is 2 hours long. It's a little less than 2 hours. And I want to try to keep this show closer to 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay. We'll get to all of these. At least I'll put them on the screen as we watch this. So that's what's on the agenda for today and this evening. Thank y'all so much, everyone. Thank you so much for yesterday's live stream. We had a wonderful time.
The world's what he made
on Wednesday. Thank you all. Everyone who sent in Cash Apps and PayPal over the last couple days, and everyone, of course, who sent in super chats during these live streams. I appreciate it.
Right,
Lakia is here. Brian is here as well. Holly B. Holly B is here as well. Thank you for being here. H&L, thank you so much. Ava says, no man has good enough memory to be a successful life. Yeah. Good point there. Jay the Informant is in the building as well. Fresh Chapman. Yeah, here, and this is from me. What's up, Miss Conference? Michigan, I graduated. All right, I'm officially a graduate. Thanks again, Miss Conference, and thanks for the super chat. Okay, let's get into. I want to try to get into this as quickly as possible here. Here's the video, and I'm going to start because at the beginning of the video he's playing music and he's eating and stuff. We're not going to play that part. We're going to get right into where he starts to talk. Thank you so much, DJ Captain, for being here this evening. And all right, here we go right here. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio.
Did my very first public donation for the Frederick Douglass. St. Paul's had chosen, and right now I am making the announcement. Peace and love, Black family. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Yeah, thank
Dr.
you.
Umar Johnson, the most requested Black scholar in the world, the #1 Black school psychologist in history, the #1.
Used to Lenon on and all the people in this chick.
As you all know,
Fair
What's up, Ron? What's up, brother?
on February the 14th,
JJ Flow. Okay, cool.
the 201st solar return of my great ancestor, the great Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey Douglas, to whom I am a blood relative. I promised you I would be giving you the FD.
He's not. That's such a anyway.
EMG school announcement. Well, for those of you who are tuned in right now, you are getting a special treat.
Yeah, that's long.
So we gotta be on mute to play. Hold on.
Projects associated with like schools or after school programs or
How about now?
camps for boys where he was collecting money for going all the way back to 2009. It's just this is a different iteration of it. The St. Paul's was kind of like the apex of it, and then from the St. Paul's it was like.
I got sound now. So I gotta be unmuted. Damn, I don't know how much I've been. Let me go back a little bit.
To purchase this copy,
to come to understand that the founder of St. Paul's College, Father Russell.
See, a lot of people don't know this about the St. Paul's.
Anyone here
is there anyone in the chat room already? We've already got 40 people here. Anyone in the chat room has not heard about St. Paul's College? Because originally Umar was saying that he was going to purchase this college campus and then turn it into a boarding school for Black boys. Is there anyone here who does not know about that? Hit the one button. A lot of people don't know about that because they came in later, you know, in the timeline. And some people may have been around then, but ultimately this transformed itself into other school scams. The Detroit school scam, Florida,
right.
And then of course now here we are in Wilmington. Okay, most people know about the Wilmington because that's more recent. Here we go.
Had been a good friend to one of my greatest
ancestors,
the great Booker T. Washington. And I did even more research to learn that the great Dr. George Washington,
the center of everything, everybody,
botanist and agricultural scientist that he was, actually came to
St.
Paul's
right about
College
that.
to pay a visit
You're absolutely right about that.
Father Russell, the founder. So we began a fundraising
I was involved in a group
campaign
that was trying to. I didn't know that. Yeah.
St. Paul's had chosen an auction company, Motley's. And Motley's auction was responsible for selling the campus. I called them up, told them I wanted it. I didn't have any money. They said, well, see how much you can get. Put in a bid. Let's see what happens. So I sent in the bid paperwork. I had a lecture in St. Louis that was scheduled too long after that. I collected my very first public donation for the Douglas
at that point,
Academy.
At this point, it's an honorable thing. Like you try to get a school, and you know people donate today. I would donate today.
At my St. Louis, Missouri lecture,
and see, he's very really a more accurate statement would be I collected my first donation for the St. Paul's School project, and that would be in 2014. But he had other projects associated with like schools or after programs or summer camps for boys where he was collecting money for going all the way back to 2009. It's just this is a different iteration of it. The St. Paul's was kind of like the apex of it, and then from the St. Paul's it was like he descended all the way down to where he's at now, where he's just trying to open up a gym. Okay,
and I want to say thank you right now, thank you to the brothers and sisters of St. Louis, Missouri for giving me that very first donation. I wasn't comfortable asking you all for money. Those of you who were there probably remember that I wasn't comfortable. I had never asked for money publicly, and I didn't want to because I just seen the black.
He is he's such a liar. Come on.
Community gets swindled and hustled so often, you know, with public collections that.
And now 13 years later.
That for myself.
Oh, 4 years from this video.
Excuse me for 1 second, brothers and sisters. But anyhow,
he's never shown any paperwork.
I collected it, and that money that was raised in St. Louis, I think it was approximately $500, was used to pay an attorney in New York to put forward the bid on my behalf.
And our people get this man money, and they telling you, like,
I loved it. For a mere $2 million,
this is going to be studied in the future. This hustle
for just $2 million. So I started asking people to send in their checks or money orders payable to the FDMG Academy. I immediately went to the bank, and at the bank, I started an account for the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. And you started sending in your donations. I started getting complaints from Black people that it's too inconvenient to have to mail in a check or money order. They recommended that I start some sort of online fundraising platform for people who were too lazy to go to the mailbox.
Too lazy to go to the mailbox.
See that nigga used to always say shit like that too, and have me tripping. They used to talk shit to the people and ask for money.
You know, I was thinking lazy to go to the mailbox.
This shit's supposed to be goddamn online so I can get my refund when you
to the mailbox. So
too lazy to go to the mailbox. It's their money. Yeah, I know. He showed us the blueprints too. We never saw the blueprints. That was interesting. You know, I was thinking when he says, I have it right here. Let me pull it up real quick. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Yeah, try GoFundMe, but GoFundMe shut that shit down when he realized he been bullshit.
When he's giving this talk, because someone had asked, is he inside his mama's closet? No, at this time, this was before this, and so here, let me show you all this right here. It's February 19th. He stayed with his mother at this time, and this is the same place area location where he took the phone.
Wait, where this man got all the fucking evidence.
This is what you see.
Now, that's what you call receipts.
You know, his living conditions and his mother's living conditions.
He has family. He's doing his family that been the rap. All been on exposing that nigga.
You know,
and that shit been
we're gonna open up
TV.
Black boys, and yet he lives like this. You know, and it's interesting because behind him he has a.
That my first time hanging in the chat. Listen to this nigga.
Little corner in the back. What you mean this? Oh yeah. Okay, now this isn't where he lives now with his mama. Okay, because they were evicted from here and they were evicted from the previous location.
He would give you the whole
scoop. Living with his mama. This is
years and years of research.
This is.
I call him an Umarologist.
Previous, so he's still now he stays inside his mama closet. But the point is that when he was living here, he was living in filth, living in a hoard, and had his mama living in these conditions too. Look at that. I mean, there's really no excuse for this. There's no excuse. You know, there are
damn hoarders,
children who they will clean stuff up just so where things aren't looking
right.
Like this. But Umar, on the other hand, he was perfectly comfortable. I think about the fact that everything is like a stage show. It's like illusion with this guy. On one hand, he has on a dress shirt, he has on a tie, trying to look professional, and then he has the little patches, Boy Scout patches.
Dazzling with words.
Do not exist. Those are all fanciful. There's
and
no
imagery.
There's no website for any of these.
And then separate them from their money. That's
none of that.
Our food gets separated from their money.
But and then in the background behind him, it looks nice and Afro.
With the 5 senses, there are 6 and 7
different African artifacts on behind him, and that's the big illusion. It's to give the illusion that he has things together and he's doing this to make this huge announcement. But this is the same spot where he accidentally flipped the phone, and this was his living conditions at the time. And instead of owning up to this, he says, "Well, I'm in the process of moving." He never moved. He never moved to Wilmington.
Yeah, that's
he started coming up with talking about I'm moving to Wilmington, Delaware. He never did. Okay? Anyway, all right, let's get back to it. It's just I can't see how anybody
accepting
like
money from PayPal. That got to a certain point, and PayPal had discontinued that fundraising.
PayPal shut them down.
We still have it, and we will be using it. They said that they would need further.
Yeah, you like my fingers
for them to lift. In order for them
at the end of the day, this man been hustling. This man been eating every day up this shit. You gotta eat. You need money to pay your bills and eat your shit. And if you got no job, fucking donations gonna be that money.
How could they? At 70, but how could someone justify that, including his supporters? How could I the truth is the truth. And let's say, I know you guys can see my background, but let's say there's a whole other area in front right here, and I flipped it, and it was just trash all over the place, and boxes tilted over, and
we know somewhere like that.
Just a little walkway through the middle.
Those friends ain't telling him to clean up.
How can anyone defend that or justify it? There's really no justification. He's a grown man.
Right.
There's no justification for that. I think that was so telling. And instead of owning it, he's a habitual liar. He said, "Oh, I'm in the process of moving. I'm in the process." He never moved. They end up getting evicted. He moved back in with mama. Now he stay in mama closet. All right, let's go.
Collect money through PayPal. So anyhow, we went back to the checks and the money orders and the donations at the lectures, which.
And when you got somebody who explain themselves like that, they be lying. They not hear a speech.
So once again, the rambling started, and brothers and sisters said, "It's too inconvenient to keep on sending in these checks and money orders. If you can't send the money in,
But at the end of the day, we all got personality channels on YouTube. We are brands, which is personalities outside the self, even more than the first personality that you cultivated, your mother and father. We create another one on the internet. So with hers though, he collecting funds, and that becomes a problem when you don't give people what they pay for.
And you need to start some sort of online platform because PayPal is a.
He been better off just being a brand, a personality who teaches history to his people. They will donate to that, and that's honorable. You ain't promising to give them something. You just selling your personality. Which video go viral, so shit, you could have just sell that shit.
The money exchange system.
Be a
It's
church,
not necessarily an online fundraising platform.
Oh, man.
You can fundraise through it. So I started doing some research, and I looked at Kickstarter, and I looked at all the different online platforms because they're not my milieu. I'm a social scientist, not a fundraising expert. So we went on GoFundMe.
He a social scientist, not a fundraiser expert.
Wow. I wasn't really
Victimism.
interested in doing GoFundMe because they take money out.
He a
So
super
GoFundMe
victim
gets
too.
between 3 and 5%
Excuses,
of the money
finger
that
pointing.
they pay, which is GoFundMe's financial management company that actually transfer the funds. They get about 3 to 5%. Overall, almost 10%, I believe, of the money collected go to them. So we started raising money. And then in 2015, a poor decision on my behalf led to a certain individual who decided to try to assassinate my character and destroy the fundraising campaign because she did not get
Oh, I was about to say, I thought you were talking about him, but talking about
what she
female.
wanted from me.
Oh yeah, the
Anybody know what he's
stripper.
talking
Talking about
about?
the
Click our
stripper.
chat. He always tells his story.
having
It's like his
a
excuse
movie
making.
in the cell.
Anybody in the chat room know what he's talking about right here? He still ain't let this go. He brings it up every once in a while.
Yeah, he don't let that go. That carrying that name. The stripper.
Yeah, the stripper. He called it the conscious stripper, but she was a stripper. Someone said the righteous. Okay, CM LaCour is the righteous stripper. That's why. Stripper too. He talking about the stripper, the conscious stripper. The drip. Yeah, the Well, that's hilarious. Yeah, he's a funny dude. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest people I ever seen.
He is. When you get to watching this nigga go crazy.
He said you should be over here making love to me. I said, oh no.
I see that nigga had something with Brett Favre and shit. I'm like,
said,
what the
poor
fuck
guy,
going
he's
on?
sitting in that hotel room. How you going to Texas? How you text the right to stripper? Talking about you should be here. Hey, we was making love to me now.
They boy had the text messages and everything on the internet. That shit was hilarious.
All right. Well, look, Antonio. Come with that donation month, family. We had a stripper investor.
He tried to say that the stripper sabotage an NBA player from getting the money. He won't get some big money.
Oh man, those texts were hilarious. Lisa, don't do that. Don't do All right. Wow. My seams are torn. Stop. Okay. All right. That's enough. We got a lot to get through tonight. We're already 30 minutes in. These poor them jeans been through so much. Okay. Let me oh man, this is a mess.
Come on, let's go.
All right, you're taking it too far. Okay. All right, let me yeah, you put it over.
He started spreading rumors that I was spinning the FDMG Academy money on her, which is quite interesting because if that were the case, that means there should be some sort of paper trail of me using the FDMG
paper trail
or writing some sort of FDMG check.
Okay, why would there be an FDMG credit card? I never thought about that.
But why would it be a paper trail
FDMG credit card?
using on script? What are they going
to a hotel, to a vacation company, to a restaurant, to somewhere, airline. There should be some track record of money being spent from our account.
Yeah, at some point, who are going to have an FDMG script-a-thon? That's like I need to raise the money to go. That's right. You got to turn that heat out. All right, let me get out this chapter. It's got out of control. He said FDMG credit card. All right, that's enough. Let me get out of here. EBT, FDMG. Well, you all the best.
I recognize some of those names in that chat. So.
All right, let's
something
go.
I doing.
For her benefit,
wow.
Which was totally false. It was totally bogus. I was asked to try and defend myself from those rules, which I chose not to get involved in. And the reason I chose not to get involved in it is because I knew that most of you who have media outlets, be they Facebook or YouTube,
who want to have vending machines at the school, he's gonna be robbing them on vending machines. All right, let me get out of here.
Whether it be an online radio show or whether it be a regular broadcast radio show, I knew my wisdom had told me, my ancestors had communicated to me that Dr. leave that situation alone because no one is after the truth. They don't care about the truth. They want drama. They want sensationalism. And the very
he always say that.
He
always saying niggas be on YouTube all day and drama. They don't bow and that type of shit. Like he know everybody.
Trying to defend yourself from people who could care less of whether you're guilty or not. They just want attention. Okay, they just want to see drama. So I stayed away from it. I never listened to a single interview. I didn't participate in a single interview. For the first time, a couple of weeks ago, while I was in Atlanta, because I saw that the school purchase deal seemed to be likely to go through. So I said, you know what, we're going to get this school. So let me listen in on some of this garbage that went on a couple of years. I listened to an interview that was done with her, and I think that I never listened back in 2015, because had I listened 4 years ago, definitely, had I listened 4 years ago, I probably would have felt the need to respond. The lies
the
lies were preposterous, and the lies were absolutely ridiculous. Now, what perturbed me even more than her conduct was the conduct of Black men and women who claim to be conscious, who claim to be advocates for our people, who were interviewing this woman, and not a single person dared to ask her the most important question that could be asked.
You know what? It's like he said he was disappointed in her conduct, whatever. Well, what about his conduct? See, she was a stripper, but she had.
And we had the text between them two, and they've been even with it, and she been with it.
And Umar, he does. He just try to make promises how he's going to help your son and all this kind of stuff. He's been doing this for like over a decade. So what about Umar's conduct? I mean, it's I mean, anyway.
And that is, what proof or evidence can you produce that shows this man has mismanaged even a penny of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy money? All the interviews that were done, not a single person asked the question of evidence. They were so happy to see that the most popular and the most powerful and most
he going in with that
renowned scholar in this country right now of our race was at the brink of being destroyed, and they couldn't resist the opportunity to run
Gotta give him that,
and try to
he write his own
but
book.
it did not work. But after she was done, other Negroes rushed in. Many of the personalities.
That right there, always do that. When he don't like you, he gonna switch the language to Spanish. He don't even know. He think the term Negro was. He think he dissing you, but the shit is just black in Spanish. Like, that's the ignorance level that you're dealing with.
In the conscious community,
Simple
many
shit.
of those who you listen to on YouTube had something negative to say about me and the fundraising campaign. And I was amazed.
Popularized version of the history in the
many
world.
of these people made money selling my merchandise. Many of these people have brought me in for lectures. But the minute they saw an opportunity to disgrace my name and get some YouTube views, they joined in on the conspiracy.
That's how you can easily see a
But that's for,
in my opinion, see what their own ideas and understanding of things outside of the popular versions, because they try to cater to a larger number of people.
4 years ago, we need not wallow
Illusions.
in that. I'm simply recounting some of the
Wow, that was 4 years ago, and that's 8 years ago now. Wow.
struggle that has taken place on the road to getting to where we are now. And that is, brothers and sisters, that is. And I am happy to say that it is, that as I sit here on the ninth day of February, on the ninth day of the most important Black History Month in American history. And I call it that because this is the year of the quadricentennial. This August, we crossed the finish line of 400 years of fighting against white racism and oppression in these United States of America, counting from the day that our ancestors were first.
Yeah, that's a good point. He never shows money collected for FDMG, and I think that that's one of the critical components.
No, fucking ain't got no damn.
There's no transparency.
QuickBooks. He ain't not using no QuickBooks and all that shit.
That's why when
I tell you, that's just daily money.
The transparency issue.
I go to the restaurant.
He was already unhinged anyway.
That's what he said.
And watch it, you'll see he does not like people to bring that up. To date, Umar has not given an official number in terms of how much he has collected. He's said in the past 750,000, around 750,000. One time he said 800,000. One time he said we already collected $1 million. We already have 1 million. He said we almost have 1 million. Then he said before they said we need another million. Well, if you need another million, that means you already have one. That was back in what, 2018. But see, no one really.
Nah, that wouldn't be a problem if you just collecting donations for your speeches and your lives and your videos or your teachings. But you can't promise something. Collect donations for that and don't produce it. It gets to this point, that shit is a scam, and it's an elaborate one because he always in the future, he always ain't come yet. But you collect every day.
Really, truly knows. My best estimate is that he's close to $3 million by now, based upon online records.
Borderline scam.
He's raised, and he's made comments about PayPal.
Crazy. That's why he can every day no more ain't no legal actions.
He talked about how he earns more income for the school, or he brings in more donations for the school offline than he does online. Offline would be, let's say, at venues, and that people give him cash or they give him checks, that type of thing, or checks and money orders sent to his P.O. box or cash sent to the P.O. box. Well, if that's the case, if you collect more offline, well, online, we do know that he collected over $400,000 on GoFundMe, and he's also admitted to having like $125,000 on PayPal. Well, that's over $500,000 right there online. Okay, if we collect more offline, well, then it'd have to be at least $501,000. Well, he's already at $1 million right there. See what I'm saying? And that goes back to what, 2017. And that's counting from 2014 to 2017. He was well over $1 million. Well, it's 2018, 19, 20, 21. Okay, now we're getting into 2023. So 4 more years of collecting donations. And then prior to that, going back to 2009, 10, 11.
When he in this video with the suit on, he already buy the buildings that he got now. But 4 years not going to buy them shit to the abandoned buildings, and he still collect every day.
12, 13, we got 4 other years. Okay. But he never shows the money collected. He doesn't even know at this point. He doesn't know how much money he's collected.
The buying been just to get the people off his ass.
But my best estimate is that it's close to $10 by now. Okay?
And now that's
a good point. No
along.
Transparency whatsoever. None.
You eat every day.
He's lying because it was negative. Turn that heat down. Yeah. The whole concept, that's why he should. I mean, what kind of standard is that? So you're just trying to find anybody you can have sex with and making promises to them and talking about help your sons and knowing that they're in difficult situations and she's a single mother. Yeah, okay, she strips too. But does that justify approaching the situation like that? And you're supposed to be this great black leader, and you're
being a stripper don't got nothing to do with this situation.
Helping the babies and all this talk. I'm sorry. You got to have some level of ethics and morality about yourself.
Right.
Umar doesn't have that. So a lot gave him a pass because he's a male. Now, I don't believe in that shit.
He try to use the fact that she's a stripper to minimize the situation.
I just don't believe in that.
I ain't gonna fly with no person like me.
If you're gonna live a sexually promiscuous lifestyle and you're a woman, then people call you a hoe. But then if you live a sexually promiscuous lifestyle and you're a male, you're a hero. No, it's a double standard, and it's ridiculous. Either way, it's ridiculous. Okay. And yeah, Umar's a male hoe. Okay? But no one has to hold him accountable for that. That's a serious problem. Okay? You've been living like that for a long time. That's why you're always talking about cookies and pina colada cookies and hot fudge and vanilla ware and hot salt. One time he said hot salt. Anyway. The little gaming channel says it will be 500 years by the time we see that. Well, we did some math yesterday, little gaming channel. It took Umar 10 years to get these properties, and then here we are 4 years later.
10 years to get the building.
And there's still no school. So that's 14 years right there, going back to 2009. He made that post in January, but he had been talking about it before. Yeah, but what, he just starts talking about it in January? No, going back to at least 2009. So we're talking 15 years altogether. No, let me get this right. 2000. It took him a decade to get these properties. 2009 to 2019. It took him a decade, and then here we are 4 years later. So 14 years. So if it takes him 14 years, and he's still talking about getting,
and that's why he's talking like that in this video that we're reviewing, because he just get the buildings even higher, mighty that day. 4 years now, he talking that day.
They're going to start with second, third, and fourth grade would be 2024 before they get their first graduating class. Based on that the pressure associated with this magnitude of a lie, because it's.
I just say that. Look at his demeanor now compared to then. He been on top of the world, and
wake up
on this video that we
I have to open
trying to review.
Black boy. Knowing doggone well that you don't have the capacity to do it, you don't have the finances to do it. He could have just bought a storefront and made it work that way. But based on the project scope, what he's doing now, project scope with IT stuff, based upon the project scope, it's going to take about, if he opened up both sides of the street, it's going to take about $6 million operational costs per year. Umar knows that. Because it was $6 million Lawyer Academy, and what was that? That was like what, about almost a decade ago? With inflation, I mean, it may be closer to $8 million, $9 million operational costs by now. By the time he gets this thing allegedly started, can you imagine waking up every single day, and your whole life for the last 13 years has centered around this idea that you're going to open up this school? You know it's not going to happen, but you keep going with the lie because it brings you money. That has to be a serious weight on a person's shoulder.
Yeah, think about that shit. That shit.
It can't be.
If that's the way you got to eat.
Umar, it's not just, I mean, obviously his lifestyle is self-destructive, but just the pressure of all of this That has, I mean, it has to be a horrible existence to wake up every single day and know that, listen, people are expecting me to do this, and I know I'm not going to do it, but I got to keep this going to keep the money coming in.
The big lie.
How do you see Looney Tunde's story? That's a good question.
I see the story ending. I see him
As it
in
pertains
Ghana
to the school scam,
with a white woman.
I just think he'll keep making excuses to the point where at
They'll
the end
move the
of the
Ghana
day,
on their ass.
the property, at least half of it, the other side of the street, it's going to be taken because he's not paying the property tax.
Yeah, you're gonna sell that shit
$120,000 right now.
for couple million.
The you know, basically the city, they'll come in there and take it, and then he'll just blame it on the white man. He'll do something like that. And I mean, I could see him even selling the other side. I can see him selling everything right now, just selling it. He may make a profit, and then packing it up and saying, you know, we're looking for another location, and here's why. And he'll have all these different reasons, you know.
And continue that shit too.
You know, now think about this. When he purchased these properties, the time the Wilmington, that's where these are at, was ranked 6th in the nation for violent crime. I could see him saying something like that. You know, it's just in this area, it's gotten.
Yeah, you can blame it on something. That's like the blame king.
So I think that what will happen is more and more excuses, and it will keep going. He'll continue to blame black people. But if the city of Wilmington, if they finally pull the plug and say, "Listen, it's been too long on these taxes. We're going to come in and we're going to take these sheriff sale time," he'll come up with some conspiracy by the Wilmington government or whatever you want to call it. And that they're
the white man. That's favorite.
And then he'll get people to support him because of that. Then I can sell him the other property and just moving on. I mean, I don't mean to belabor this, but I always had a sense that part of the reason why he was comfortable with purchasing these properties, it was because, well, one, it allowed him to continue to scam for another 4 years, but then it got GoFundMe off of his back because they were issuing refunds for fraud. But the other thing is, I always had a sense that this is a property flip. Okay? And I don't know this for a fact. That's why I haven't really said this all that much. But I felt like it was a property flip. It's like you're going to take all this money, and it's really like kind of like embezzlement. You take all this money and you put it into this property, and you sit on it, and in that area they're doing gentrification. Yep. And I'll just sit on it, sit on it, sit on it. I'll act like I'm making
and then they
just money. And then once the property value goes up because they're doing all this gentrification in that area, and it's a massive gentrification project, then I'll just put it up for sale, and then I'll earn a profit. And then he can start the scam all over again. He could probably tell people, "Hey, listen, you know, we made an extra $400,000 by selling it. Now we're going to get another building that's going to be even better." In other words, the story is ending. It's just going to be continued excuse making and finding ways to extend this scam even further. Just like St. Paul's, he extended St. Paul's by going to the Wilmington school scam, where at a certain point when this all crumbles, he'll come up with another one. See, this has been his biggest stream of income, has BTS take. But this here, it's gone on now for 13 years, but the amount of money, we're talking millions of dollars. So it'd be hard for him to let that go. He'll just
he got an episode of American Greed with that.
And there'll be people who will buy into it.
But that ain't a lot though. These niggas in American
Greed. We got 700 people in the building.
If
y'all can hit the like button, I appreciate it. Thanks, and thank you, Naeem, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Black, what's up, Lenon? When Umar was racking up that money, that's when he was spending like he hit lotto. Yeah, you're right. What happened with that art gallery or Umar's B film? Okay, yeah, the art gallery thing people have speculated about. I haven't been able to verify any of that. Okay, and I've talked about it, but I've talked about it sparingly. But yeah, Umar, you know, he took that money and spent it on things. What people don't realize, or people, let me not say it that way. A lot of people forget. If you go back and watch Umar from back in the day, he used to be dressed really suited and booted. And when that money started coming in, you start to see he started wearing more designer clothes and that type of thing. Some of y'all
that boy going balling.
But what has happened is that money has also allowed him to fuel his lifestyle, which is self-destructive.
Exactly. Daily
so
money.
Now when you see him,
Cash
he
flow.
doesn't dress that way anymore. I mean, I've seen him look like he just rolled out of bed. Literally, he just woke up and he slept in the clothes that he wore the day before. He just laid down, went to sleep, woke up, and then got up and started going about his business. He wasn't like that back in the day. He used to take money and spend it on himself so he can look presentable, but that's all out the window these days, and has been for some time.
Yeah, because the internet fuels
because the money now fuels his
making these videos
and things like
people who
having a
just
nice
now knowing about him, right? Because you always got new people who want
things like dressing and nice, having your clothes
get a certain age and find
have
people
fancy,
on the internet.
You don't
and
see that with him, and there's a reason
they
why
gonna
I talked about it. There's
get their perception of him, then they're gonna learn about them
I've always told
from
people
these type of videos, and
you're sending your money for a noble cause.
they ain't sending their money no more like they used to.
Something like boys, what it's done is it's enabled Umar to self-destruct, and that's sad. It's sad. He living inside his mama's closet, literally. It's such a sad. And in terms of his film, where's the film? He collected donations for that too. Where's the? He don't even mention it anymore. He'll bring it up at a certain point, probably around when people start getting their research.
He make the film. He took the time and made a documentary, and that's very good at editing, and that's the atomic bomb that been dropped on him. That's almost 1 million views, and count all the people.
And that whole film thing, that was his way of trying to be like Tariq Nasheed, because he's so jealous of Tariq Nasheed. That's all that was. But nothing ever came out of it. And then also, you may not even be talking about that. You may be talking about the film that he was talking about he was going to be in, where he was there was a love scene. I said, oh, I haven't heard anything about that either.
They got 100 promises
there
on
was
a
a
piece
time
of
in his
paper
heyday
on
where
that
he was racking up so much money that he really, and he was also paying women that he was dealing with too. I got receipts on that. We ain't gonna get into that tonight. He's paying women, sending them PayPal and stuff. Boy, I tell you.
People used to call in and shit.
I think for some that hot peanut butter means something. Yeah. One time he said the hot peanut butter queen. He said the hot fudge, hot peanut butter. I said, what? Warm salt? That was wild. I thank you. Who was that? That was Umar's genius.
Umar
said, you must give money. I got you must money to FTG for what? Yeah, I know. I remember that too. I mean, it's just another hustle. He said, look, I'll interview, but you got to make a donation. I remember he was asking for $500 for a donation. I mean, $500 for an interview. And there were people who were paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, this guy's made so much money, but he has nothing to show for it. That's telling in and of itself. There's nothing to show for it, nothing substantive. I figure if you're going to collect millions of dollars, at the very least, you should have a bought a home. Living comfortably. You don't take care. Anyway, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Thanks, Jaden, for me. Okay, let's get back to it. We're about an hour. It went okay on time, but I want to try to get through all of this tonight. Muhammad Ali sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much. All right. Sal says, did you know you can't even purchase his books? I have no idea. I know that there are people who talked about how they
never get back to that video.
Donors Club. Those who are not able to commit to it.
Oh yeah, that boy had a monthly program. People would pay.
Cash app out or mail order.
They had $1,000.
All donors will be honored, whether random or regular. When we finally open the Honorable Marcus Elementary School of the FDMG Academy, we appreciate you. That was in 2020. Okay, this is the Lawyer Donors Club, bronze level, silver level, gold level, platinum level. I think one of them was like $1,000 a month. I said, really?
That's $7,000 a month. They had people who paying that shit.
Loyalty, okay? And for some reason, there were people, I guess, who bought into this. Help us reach our goal. FGG loyal donors, the bronze, gold, platinum. Anybody remember what the amounts were? I can't remember. Membership program, renovations have begun, but we can't finish without you. That's 2020. All right. Look at this. This is from 2020. It says, please join Loyal Donors Club today. FMG repair schedule. Electric repairs covered. Carpentry repairs covered. Plumbing repairs covered. Fire alarm repairs covered. Sprinkler systems repairs covered. HVAC repairs covered.
You ain't getting none of shit fixed.
$250,000 needed, or volunteer labor must be HVAC license converted to Delaware. Can y'all believe this? I mean, the HVAC has been the big saga for many years. This has gone on and on.
Social media.
What child trauma did? Well, abandoned, sure. I mean, he has a lot of animosity towards his father, because his father abandoned the family, had a gang of kids. Y'all think I got a lot of kids? His daddy got a gang of kids. So there's a lot there. Growing up in poverty.
That's a brand.
You know, it's a lot. It really is. I think the video that kind of exhibited it the most is when he talks about, you know, growing up
people
poor
thought
and
they
having
buying
to wear jackets in the house because they
that's
didn't
their
have
cup
heat.
of tea. I got nothing to do with that.
That was really sad, because he talked about this movie theater that he used to go to as a child and watch movies, and you should see how he just morphs into this little child. Even how he's standing this, doing like this and stuff, and it's just really, really sad. It is, but it's still not an excuse. You know, everyone's gone through things. I know I've gone through a lot, but I can't, as a child, childhood was horrible, but I can't use it as an excuse. I mean, it does impact and influence even to this day, but I can't use it as an excuse.
Not for no man. You ain't getting no pity party.
It's kind of like a dispassionate way of seeing things, or it's a dispassionate way of saying it, but we really don't have the luxury to you know, allow child trauma to dictate the rest of our lives. And if we choose to do so, we'll then deal with the consequences. But at some point, as an adult, we have to deal. I want to get books. This was the Dr. Papa book release coming soon for Sisters Only: The Rules of Relationship Romance.
He's all the promises he's been making.
Ain't
never finish it. Like, great. He promoted
intent.
Everything.
It shows focus. You see?
Right, he supposed to be button to school, but this week
Dallas for Sisters Only. Dr. Umar returns to Dallas Saturday. Look at the picture.
This man.
So what is this about exactly? Yeah, it is. It's predatory. I'm gonna save your black boy, but look what he's doing.
Hey, play that shit in the chat. It's fucking predator. For Sisters Only shit.
Yeah. There's more I can show you. I mean, here's the romance book. This is from 2016. Dr. Papa book release coming soon for Sisters Only: The Rules of Relationship and Romance. 2016. I mean, I can show you. I'll leave it at that. Okay, let's get back to the video. Lewis, I was going to say,
a lot of people got internet famous
that the people brainwashed
around
by
that time.
not to be a conspiracy theorist, but him coming really out of
2005 on that.
owing all that child support and not being jailed,
And,
put in license, not revoke the suspect. Yeah, but Lewis,
personalities and their brands.
what Umar does, and I've seen the pattern. What he does. There was a time where Umar would go overseas, and he would need a passport, obviously, to be able to do that. And what would happen is that and it wasn't like all throughout the year. There were specific times during the year. Some of you guys remember this. Hit the one. So certain times during the year, he'll be London, Rochester, and all. And he would talk about and all this stuff. And then there were times he would go to Africa too. But you have to have a passport for that. So what would happen is I started to notice that whenever these international speaking engagements would come up, Umar would talk a lot about child support. And it'd be so random because he doesn't talk about
Umarologist. You catch all that shit.
Look at the ones in here. He would start talking about child support. You know, and child support is against the black man and all this kind of stuff.
Right. You know, you can frame it like that.
You know, damn.
The victim, the ultimate victim.
And so I started putting the pieces together because I was thinking to myself, why is he talking about child support? And then I would go on his docket.
Like all personalized to his life.
Because the court is trying to
get
white
man stopping us. When it comes to something that he got a problem with it. But if he ain't got a problem with it, then I need to toughen up.
In just a moment. But I know that whenever, just before, let's say a month or two before he had a speaking engagement out of the country, there'll be these stuff on his docket that shows that, yeah, he did actually pay. He came in and paid something, but that's just so that he can keep the courts off of his back, and so that he can have a passport to be able to travel. So in essence, he will pay his child support so that he can maintain his passport. And I mean, You can't get more clear when it all came to clarity. There was one time Umar was downtown in Philadelphia, and he was walking around and talking. He was about to get to the car to get in the car, and he's talking. He says, "Yeah, I'm down here, paying these blah blah blah," and he had on a tuxedo. So I was thinking to myself, the tuxedo, right? Well, come to find out, he wasn't there, because you can go onto the docket. It matched up perfectly. He was down there in the court to go pay
child support.
some moving violation tickets, or within the country, and especially internationally. This is just insane. It's over 20 years now, over 20 years. But when it messes with his ability to get travel and to make money, he'll get in there and pay it. I'm saying it, and I was sitting back like, what's going on here? Well, I figured it out.
It's a great place, brother.
Right,
1819.
So it's like, okay, let's get back to the video. We got to get busy here.
Brought here in August of 1619. August the 20th of 1619, they arrived.
Yeah, I know.
August the 21st. Like Judge in their first sunrise.
Somebody else come up.
And so on August the 21st of 2019, we will commemorate. We will remember 400 years of the struggle of our ancestors to bring us to where we are. We may not be in a great place, brothers and sisters, but we are in a much better place than where we were 300 years ago, where we were 400 years ago, and where we were.
No, I would not for the Breakfast Club, because they've enabled Umar. I look at them as like an accomplice.
Yeah, Breakfast Club is the reason why.
And it wouldn't. I mean,
the perception of the YouTube stardom, the perception of stardom to the multitude, to the people. Breakfast Club going to give you that. If you go on it, show 3 million viewers. My spirit, all right. So yeah, he done been on there a couple of times too. They allow that shit to get collected.
There are certain things, again, for them, it's sensationalism and ratings. That's why they had him on. They listen, especially what's the guy's name? I was gonna call him Angela Yee. What DJ Envy? He's very intelligent when it comes to real estate, because I've heard him talk. He knows his real estate.
Charlemagne just think he's some goddamn African guru or some shit.
I have no doubt in my mind.
So Charlemagne probably be inviting him on. He's viral online. He can speak that shit and making that shit go viral.
He knows that.
He comedy.
He knows that. Why would you purchase the property for $400,000?
A lot of people watch Umar Johnson because he's gonna say something outrageous, sensationalism.
In the middle of the hood, it's a hood, and then the taxes on the property is half of the price that accumulated. Is half
be
the
racist and shit.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense.
Like
then you're going to sit on it for 4 years. It's not generating any income. It's not benefiting anyone. Now, we could say that it is generating income because it's a carrot that Umar's been able to dangle in front of people's, nose, if you will, in order for them to keep giving him money for more years. But just from a business standpoint and from a real estate investment standpoint, DJ Envy knows that this is a bull job.
Right.
He knows that, and he's known for a long time.
And you gotta be a real estate agent to know
because he gets
that shit gonna take
increases the ratings, and it's sensational.
Millions.
They know people are going to tune in.
And that shit can take a board of directors and so many experts.
It's just unethical. What happens is they expose millions of people to Umar who are unassuming and don't know Umar's history, and don't know their background. In essence, they're vouching for him by having him on there. And so then he gets a cash infusion from all these people. They hear him for the first time, or maybe they haven't seen him in a long time, and they start sending cash money. Well, DJ Envy knows that this is fraud. He knows that it's a scam, but he will expose his own audience to being defrauded by Umar simply for ratings. That's unethical. Yeah, I know. They don't care. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're up to 700 people. If y'all can hit the like button, I appreciate it.
100 years ago.
Yeah, 2 for 9.
So, brothers and sisters, I am here today to let you know
This
that
will be
we
like
have succeeded.
1,200 that
To all the
motherfucker.
brothers and sisters who
sometime
donated,
ago.
who supported me through the thick and the thin. This has been a very long 4.5 years, brothers and sisters. A very long 4.5 years. And I'm just glad to say that we have our school. I am here today, brothers and sisters, to let you know that we have.
Now he's saying this in 2019, but was it really 4.5 years? No, it's not
10
4.5 years. Look, this is from 2010. He said the school was going to open in 2013. Anyway,
school. With that,
Already lying.
for those brothers and sisters who swallowed some of the Kool-Aid that was being sold to you by Hotep hustlers, con artists, and others in our community.
Everybody else, watch that trick. If somebody try to demonize others, they try to get you not to look at others and just look their way. So he try to tell you everybody else is a cult, but not him.
Who, through whatever way, influenced you to stop supporting Dr. Umar Johnson. I forgive you. And I thank the fact that you did donate.
Somebody outside gotta influence you not to fuck with him. Not your own discernment. You ain't smart enough to discern things for yourself. According to him.
At some point in this 4.5 year struggle to purchase this school. I thank you anyway. I would probably argue that no more than 12 people out of the tens of thousands of donations.
Tens of thousands of donations. They were getting
I just want to say, Chris, yeah,
fist.
it can be that the city can come in and they can put it up for sheriff. It's called a sheriff sale, and they will sell it to the highest bidder. You know, but even still, Umar could still recoup some of the money based on the price. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just sell it all to just flat out and just pocket the money and just says that we're going to move somewhere else for whatever reason. He sure is talking about himself. He's funny, boy. He just project. Yeah, exactly, Donald. He just be projecting. Jerry, I think some of them do. I was talking about this yesterday. Some of them, it's a fascinating tale. This whole Umar saga is fascinating. It really is. You know, it's like y'all remember what was
like
that? It was a show about this Texas guy in the oil and stuff. And at one point he got shot, and it was I can't remember what that. It reminds me of something like that, like a soap opera thing. It's very intriguing. And the thing is that people who watch, let's say, the novellas, the Spanish novellas, they know that it's a bunch of people know that it's just a bunch of drama, you know. But they want to believe and they want to be lied to because yeah, Dallas, that's what it was. You know, you get old. His name was JR. Yeah, we got some old people in the building. I used to love that the intro song. I can't think of it right now. Yeah, JR on Dallas. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, it's true. It's true that there are people they just want to be lied to, but it's entertaining.
That's a live reaction. Umar Johnson versus
and it doesn't mean that everyone who's being entertained is sending him money. That's not what I know it's just entertainment, but they actually believe he's open school. But there are a lot of people. They know that it's just a bunch of bull jiving, but they want to tune in and they want to support because they enjoy the drama factor. It's like Dallas, you know, or Young and the Restless.
I enjoy the comedy.
When I was in high school,
I watch Umar Johnson video high up.
They would record it.
I knew he was saying some off the wall shit.
And there was one guy on there named Victor. You remember Victor? And he had a daughter. And I had a little crush on her back then, but he had a daughter on there.
Shout out to the whole head.
I don't remember too much of it, but I used to watch it, you know. And then it had that song in the beginning. I can't remember right now. I love that song. All right.
Umar Johnson sick the all like
a bit of a hole back there.
Kind of intertwined with the.
No, it was we were still in a committed relationship.
Too.
Well, I tell you, I was living over there. You know that's bad when you live at your girlfriend's house. And her mama was fine too. When I say that, she was fine with it. She was like, "Oh, that's okay." Yeah. Remember the first time I stayed the night, she was like, "Yeah, you're sleeping. Why is Dr. Umar so crazy?" Yeah,
he's walking out too. That's why I know the fast forward or not because this shit funny to me.
He loves all. I
have been that too, kind of.
Yeah, and then he had a daughter. His wife used to annoy me a lot. All right, let's go. Let's get back to it. I'm tripping. Here we go.
That we have received. No more than 12 people out of the tens of thousands of donations that we have received, no more than a dozen, had decided to stop donating. Okay, no more than a dozen. Okay, 99.9% of all
why the
of you
fuck you bring it up, nigga?
supported me all the way up to the end. The letters of support, the letters
Shit,
of
that's small amount.
encouragement, the letters of faith, the prayers that you all sent forward on behalf of your brother. I can't thank you enough, because there were a couple times.
And then I think that was another.
He had a problem with the black church, but he
kind of dealing with it, something
Christian
like
as a motherfucker.
Real crazy, you know. Anyway, I could be mixing up something else, but I thought he was dealing with somebody.
There were a couple times when I said to the ancestors, "This is getting to be too much." It was getting to be too much, and I said that what I'm going to do is I'm going to refund all of the money to everybody. Let me just give it all back. Let me just go back to being a regular rank and file school psychologist. Let me go ahead and get my license.
He lying.
He lying his ass out, nigga. Eating fucking spaghetti, big ass meatballs and shit.
And you were chosen for these times. And if you quit now, you don't not only quit on yourself, you don't quit on black boys everywhere.
He said he gonna give the money back. No, it was because GoFundMe was giving the money back. Let's see. Do you think he got that secret massage from the big? No, I don't think so. I actually think he made her uncomfortable. I really do.
And nigga ain't saying not one penny back.
I think he made her uncomfortable.
Nigga ain't saying he don't donate to nobody.
Like
Guarantee that.
They ain't got, well, I ain't gonna say what we used to call them, but they didn't have no game, you know. And you can tell Umar don't know how to talk to no woman, and he don't know.
You donate to Umar before?
He just has no clue. He has no clue. You know, there's a way that you should speak, and there's a way that you should treat. But Umar, he's go over there. See that them big old man.
When I first heard,
the white woman too. He
was starting to school whatever, talking about something
but
small.
He was catching that jungle fever at that time.
I mean, he was talking like, goddamn.
Just lustful.
Scanning shit out of these people,
I mean, Umar was real lustful in that video. He even had his camera, because he always does that.
I wait for the nigga to get a brother direct. I know you're serious.
Thanks for no, I don't think he got a secret massage from the Snow Queen. I don't believe so.
Where you don't quit on your donors, but you quit on your ancestors. These same ancestors that you claim that you care so much about. These same ancestors that you want to validate in their
the ancestors now. Heartstrings.
Sending the money for the ancestors?
On August the 21st of 2019, you quit on them. So the ancestors said,
you guilt your ass for the fucking ancestors.
So 3 or 4 years when I would go to the slave dungeons in Ghana and Senegal, when we would go to the different spiritual towns in Togo and Benin and South Africa, when I was in Malawi and Kenya and Egypt and taking the cruise down the Nile River this past summer through Kemet and Ethiopia. Just
living his best life.
I just called
right. That's why I can be right. I won't go to fucking Kenya, nigga.
To see this thing through, and they finally did it.
You want Brazil? How about that?
Thank you. And it's so many of you, so many donors. I want to just name some. I have about 20 of these books right here. You know, and
hey, that's a tactic. That's a tactic. That's a tactic they use too when they scam me. Try to make it look like they're getting more than what they getting, so other people will feel left out and say, "Well, let me give it too. Everybody else give it."
This is in 2019. This is just 4 years ago. This is how Umar is keeping up with the donations.
Composition book.
He's writing them in those. What is this book called? The I can't remember what they're called.
I've been a note taking for the hood.
Or a Chromebook or a table, a PC,
right.
A tabletop.
Nah, nigga, use notes on his phone.
But this is what
Google Docs.
Your principal. He's writing things down. No, it's not a ledger. It's not a ledger because you can get these at the dollar store these days. Everything at dollar store is $1.25. Something $1.50. That's what it is. It's a composition notebook, composition book. That's what this is. So this is what I mean. The idea that you're going to keep track of, and see, this is because I've earned a degree in cybersecurity.
But damn, he ain't writing all that shit.
Identifiable information, you're not supposed to be writing down like that anyway.
Right.
And if you have it on a computer, it needs to be So it goes to show you that not only does Umar, he's writing things down. That's like, you don't do that with other people's information. That's like back in the day, a hospital, they would have files on people and it'd be paper files. They can't do that anymore. Because it's a security risk. See? They have access controls on computers where certain people can access certain information, and then everything, whether it's in transit or it's in storage or as it's being processed, the data, personal identifiable information, has to be encrypted with strong encryption algorithms, if you will. But this is just 4 years ago, and Umar's writing down people's personal identifiable information inside of these notebooks. In a composition notebook. And he said he got 20 of them, not 10, 20. I don't believe Umar, but though, yeah, it was ready. They was mean too.
They had old ladies.
That one that had on that blue.
Had a block party. He had a block party at the schools, the abandoned buildings, and he had old ladies with art with bows and arrows on them.
Here we go.
Right now, written information to computerized information. We're putting all this in a chart because we want to properly honor all of the donors at a special ceremony.
See, what you do is you put it in computer format from the jump, and it needs to be encrypted, but not Umar.
At the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. So just to say thank you to a few. This isn't everyone. This is no one from PayPal. This is no one from GoFundMe. And one of the reasons I need you brothers and sisters who donated from PayPal and GoFundMe to get your receipts is you're going to.
Umar has my old chemistry. He might. How's it going, Haitian Chris? I ain't seen you in a minute. Yeah, he might have everybody some homework. I'm like, okay, so Andreas says, Lenon, the composition book is a step up. Oh, okay. It is. But it just goes to show you how antiquated he is, I mean, if he's going to open up this quote-unquote state-of-the-art school, why is he dealing in notebooks? Paper notebooks.
In 2019.
This is just 4 years ago. Okay? Listen, Haitian Chris, I wouldn't be surprised if he hands out paper homework for these kids. They do stuff at school that he hands out like, how we used to get. They don't even do that these days. Rarely do these children come home with any homework anyway. When I was coming up, you came home and it was time to get busy on the homework. You be doing homework for 3-4 hours. These kids these days, they do it because everything is they get on their Chromebook and they knock it out and they ain't got nothing, no homework on. But rarely. Thanks, Haitian Chris. What's up, Dion says there's no way he can pay the taxes. I know, but he can't.
You gotta pay
listen,
tax,
the operating budget has to be close. It has to be over $6 million for all of the properties. Really, because with inflation, it was $6 million for the Moyer Academy. How's he going to come up with, and that's per year. How is he going to come up with that per year? We even did some math. Let's say, and we were looking at, okay, how many students would he need to have to try to make this kind of financially viable? And I can't remember how many, it's like 400 or 600 students, something like that, paying $500 a month. There's no way. And again, if he can't pay the taxes, which is like $120,000, how is he going to pay faculty and staff? You would expect that each teacher is going to be paid what, at minimum $50,000 a year? Well, where's he going to, just to pay them? We're not talking about 401k plans and a match. We're not talking about health insurance, dental, vision. We ain't talking about none of that stuff. We're not talking about workers' comp. We're not talking about any of that stuff. Just to pay the staff, where's he going to come up with the money for that? So that's what I mean. Financially speaking, it's not even viable, but he keeps running with it because it brings him money in the meantime. And it's been going on now for 13 years, 4 years since he acquired these bad businesses.
Anybody who donated to that shit, she think about all
that. Okay, thanks, Dion. Okay, I'm all caught up. Let's get back into it.
That's why you tell me should have started online. That would have been easy.
To help me make sure that you are giving credit for the donations that you have contributed. So I'm going to contact GoFundMe and try to get all that donor information. I'm sure I should be able to pull it up on PayPal, but you would be such a big help to me if you would start collecting all your money now so that we can keep all of that and make sure that we log it correctly.
What? Get all your money now? This is going to serve his mind. It's saying he will get your receipts for what you sent me, but doesn't that prove that he doesn't have the receipts? And why doesn't he have the receipts? If you said you start collecting in 2014, and then in this video is 2019 February, well, you had over 4 years to get all these receipts together, but it shows you that he doesn't even know, even in who donated to send him information on what they donated and when and how. But doesn't that prove that the idea that he has these 20 notebooks filled with it just proves that it's a lie? And see, the truth is that all of that should have been archived digitally from the jump. And you can just export the file and then import it. Anyway, in a recent video, he said the water was on, and that was the first time they had water on. Yeah, well, that's not what he said years ago. He was all excited. People were so excited about that. You know, what is the haters gonna say now? What the Cookie Crush chat gonna say now? What Lenon gonna say now? And then here we are, right, all these years later, and then he basically self-exposes and proves that water wasn't really on. What he had was he set up a plan to have the water on for, I think it was 2 days, or 3 days. The test. And the city or the water company, they'll come on and turn it on so you can test the system. But after those days are over with, they come and turn it back off. But during that time, he's up there and he makes sure he shows that to people to give the illusion of progress that the water is on. And people were jumping out the window. Y'all remember that? Hit the one. I mean, people were so excited about it. Saying, just like they were excited when he said the electricity, but there was just a part of a building. Same thing. I mean, he does that. He'll throw little crumbs out there to people, and it's just it turns out to be a lie over and over again. Same thing with the HVAC. In the video we watched the other day, I think it was yesterday, he was talking about how the HVAC is still not functional. But see, back months ago, what was it, about 5 months ago? He was talking about how, we got the HVAC and they're going to tie it in and blah, blah, blah. And we working and everyone got all excited. And here we are. It's the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing. He'll do something else again and do the same thing over and over and over again. Thanks for super chat. The sector weirdos says, talk more about the corrupt history of the Moyer building. Well, I could play you it. Y'all want me to play it for you? I mean, we're supposed to be focusing on this other thing, but I can play it for you. But what y'all want me to do? And it's short. It's a report, or you look at the corrupt history in terms of its insolvency, meaning that it was not a financially viable.
The Moyer Institute, the school the building that he buy from the Moyer Institute before he buy. So let's see what you
listen. They had, I can't remember the number, but in a number of years, and it wasn't many years, they had like over 6 different principals. That's telling you something right there. Something wasn't right. You all want me to play it? Okay. God, little Prince. Drea said, I'm playing it now. let me. And I'll let this play. I'm gonna be right back.
In our donor database, I also plan down the road, in keeping with in the tradition of the.
And back.
The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who had the Black Star Line steamship company, which he incorporated 100 years ago. So the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy is coming 100 years on the 100-year anniversary of the birth of the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. That was 1919.
He always connect a historical event to his scam, we'll call it.
And here we are in 2019. That was 1919, and here we are in 2019. So, brothers and sisters, I want to thank Brother Moses and Sister Serena of Sacramento,
on this day,
California. You made a donation of $50 on January the 22nd, 2017. I want to thank Brother Christopher, Nashville, Tennessee.
I apologize. Yeah, my computer, it's conforming these files. It's going to take a couple of minutes. No, it shouldn't take a couple of minutes, but it may slow down the stream a little bit here. I apologize for that. I should have just I could have exported this before, but I wasn't planning on getting it. But I could have exported this before I started the live stream. But here, I'll let this play. Here we go.
Made a donation of $20 on September the 14th of 2016. I'm going to thank Miss.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Let me skip through this because this is personal information. He shouldn't be doing this.
Naples is the voodoo capital. We visited the hometown of Toussaint L'Ouverture, the leader of the nation.
You always got a history.
We did all of that. And when we came back from Ghana, Togo, and Benin, I was due to celebrate the total solar eclipse on Nat Turner Day. So we went down in Nat Turner land. We went down to Nat Turner land, and on August the 21st of 2017, we witnessed the first total solar eclipse that was able to be visually seen from the United States since the days of Garvey, 1918, which I believe was prophetic. Since the days of Garvey, the last time we had a total solar eclipse in this country that was contiguous and invisible consistently through the skies of America was in 19 during the rise of the Marcus Garvey movement. So 100 years. We hadn't seen one for 100 years. And so down on Nat Turner land, we watched one of the most beautiful spectacles.
Umar means.
And I started doing research on a total solar eclipse. The total solar eclipse said that this was the beginning of new things. So I said to myself, if this is the beginning of new things, that means we're going to have a school soon. If this is the beginning of new things, that means we're going to have a school soon. But a school didn't come. Now, a couple days later, right after the Nat Turner eclipse of August the 21st, 2017, a couple days later, right after the Nat Turner eclipse of August the 21st, 2017, I learned of a school that was for sale. And I went and visited the school, and I loved it. It was a mini.
Watch how he used things outside himself as excuses to his failures.
Campus, not as big as St. Paul's, but in better shape than St. Paul's, although it's still going to need some restoration. But the asking price was too much. This was a couple days right after the Nat Turner eclipse. I want y'all to show how the eclipses are real and what they represent as it relates to the end of one era and the beginning of another era is profound. So we just came back from the voodoo capital, Benin. We just came back from the slave dungeons of Ghana. We just came back from Togo. We go to Nat Turner land on August the 21st of 2017, okay, to experience that historic eclipse on the very site of the greatest revolutionary Black act in American history. A few days later, I go to this wonderful school that I would love to make FDMG, but we can't afford it. So I didn't give up, though. I didn't give up on that school. I said, we got to push, we got to push, we got to push. A couple days later, I go to Cuba. That Sunday, I go to Cuba. So I'm in Nat Turner land for the eclipse.
Yeah, a lot of details. You gotta write this shit down. I'll practice that.
On that Monday, I think that was a Sunday or a Monday. I go to Cuba that Sunday. Okay. And between Nat Turner and Cuba, and of course, I was initiated in the mysteries of Ifa while in Cuba. I was initiated into the mysteries of Ifa while in Cuba. I was initiated into the mysteries of Ifa while in Cuba. So between Nat Turner and Cuba, I visit this school. This is August of 2017.
And the solar eclipse and all that line up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have the video of him visiting the school before he purchased it, and it was in horrible condition then. Okay, so let me try this. I'm not actually sure if this is going to work. It just depends on how. Let me give it a try here. So I'm going to do a screen share. I'm not sure if it's going to play the actual audio. Actually, it should, because it's showing up here inside the interface. So let me just play a little bit of this. This is rough. This is a project that I've started on, but I haven't really put time into it since I started. Let me do a screen share. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio on this. All right. Here we go. Yeah, it's not going to come through because it's actually coming through. Did anyone hear that? Because it's actually coming through my speakers. Let me try this one. Let me try this one other way. Give me 1 second.
So you about to get the background on Moya Academy.
Yeah, it's not going to work. I mean, well, no, it's not going to work that way either. Actually, let me see. Let me try it this way. Okay. Can you hear the audio?
No.
Okay. Yeah, people are saying no. Yeah, I can't hear it either. The best thing, I mean, I could play it. Let me do. I'll have to export it while we're live streaming. Okay, let me do that. Okay, it's gonna be good for you guys to see that section because it ties to just the Moya Academy and how it just was installed from the beginning. Watch it, you'll see that the people who were in charge of it. It just you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I'll that sector weirdo. Thank you for the super chat. Let me see if I can export it while I'm live streaming, and then I'll actually have the video file, and then I'll play it before we're done tonight. Okay, that'll be the plan. All right. Okay. Let me see. There was another super chat that came through. Barry says, "Congratulations, Lynn. I wish you much success and go Eagles." Yeah. The game is tomorrow. I'm going to be watching it. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be rooting for Mahomes because I want him to get on track for the greatest of all time. So I will be rooting for them, but I don't really care who wins or not. I just would like him to get another championship. But I'll be watching the game tomorrow. All right. All right. Enjoy the game, Barry. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the video. And while I'm doing this, wait, that's not it. While I'm playing it,
months ago,
I'll see if I can export this file, and we can watch that in a couple of minutes. Here we go.
a year and a half.
Yeah, we're up to 700 people too. If you guys can hit the like button, I appreciate it. Here we go.
I didn't think I had any chance of getting to school, so we continued to travel the country looking for a school. So then, all of a sudden, divine intervention took place.
Divine
because
intervention.
we raised just under 750,000, but the asking price.
Nah, he said 750,000. That means he got way more than that.
$50,000. So I didn't know what we were going to do, but I wanted this school. So we continued the negotiations, brothers and sisters, and finally, Black History Month, February 2018, we finally signed the deal and closed the deal. So for all my donors, I want to say thank you, and I want to let you know that your pennies, your dollars, no help from any celebrities, not a single celebrity, not a rapper, not an actor, not
he collected money every day.
Nor okay. The Garvey movement was built by everyday Black people, and this movement will be built by everyday Black people. Brothers and sisters, I'm glad to announce right here today on Saturday, February the 9th,
hey, how's it going, Bridget?
2019 Black.
I think John sent us a super sticker. Thank you so much, John. Okay, now I'm gonna export this, but it may interfere with the stream. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give it a try. Y'all just bear with me. Okay, here we go.
Of the first Frederick Douglass Garvey Academy will be in the great state where Marcus Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. Marcus Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation in the state of Delaware, 1919. And Dr. Umar Johnson, with the funds donated and invested in him by our people, have purchased the first Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy in the great state of Delaware, 2019.
He said first
Marcus Garvey incorporated Black Star Line in Delaware, 1919. Marcus Garvey incorporated Black Star Line in Delaware, 1919. And Dr. Umar Johnson incorporates the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey in Delaware 100 years later, 2019. Now you know where it is. Now you know where it is. I will be uploading a video. I will be uploading a video. I will be uploading a video to Facebook after my live feed. So you'll be able to go to my Facebook, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, my Instagram people. Make sure you go to Dr. Umar Ifatunde. My Instagram people, make sure you go to Dr. Umar Ifatunde.
And he did. He put two videos, and we're not going to get I mean, we could, I guess, maybe the next live stream, but he did. He produced, and one he showed the inside of it. It looked horrible. The other one, no, he just showed the outside. He didn't go inside because there was no electricity. But then he also did this other video.
You see when he speaks, he use hand gestures and stuff like that. All that is learning NLP school.
About 30 minutes. Once we're done here,
years later,
keep you much longer, so you can watch the 25-minute video. It is a tour
either a preacher or
inside of the school. You don't get to see as much of it as I would have liked YouTube, because the lighting is not on in the school. We have to get that turned on. I have to go to the electric and gas company on Monday. Okay.
Such a liar.
He
knew the condition of the electricity too, because remember, he ended up having to have stuff rewired. He knew that, but he wants to give the illusion that no, it's all good because it's state of the art. All he has to do is go down to the gas and electric company and have them come out and turn it on. But we know for a fact that that's not happening. You guys remember, hit the one. It wasn't for years after to where he finally got some electricity turned on.
And
so why does he lie and say, well, he didn't get it on Monday? Well, that would have been in February of 2019. And then it takes him years and years to finally get it turned on. And it was a makeshift job. The power was on all the buildings. What he did was he had some professionals come out, and they were black, had them do just enough to give the illusion of progress to get some of the lights on so that he can act like he had done all of this work. And then he fired them. That's what he did.
He's a jackass.
He makes up another line, says that they were in there and they were taking too long and they were stealing from the school. Stealing what? You mean these black professional electricians get paid crazy money? You mean they're gonna come up in here and they're gonna be stealing from this trap bando with trash all over the place and toilets with? Y'all remember this? Look at all the ones in here. So what I'm saying is that even back in February of 2019, he's spitting a lie about the electricity, but Tom tells the truth on electricity. But then when Tom tells the truth on electricity, he ends up blaming what? Black electricians.
Right, then he asked for the Mexican worker.
Only 208 lives, huh?
Because black electricians trace from.
I still love y'all though. You guys know I'm gonna love you no matter what. Because I guess it's proud for you. Okay, that's my tech geekness coming out right there. Wait a minute, this ain't it. No, this isn't the actual file. This is in part of what I'll be showing. Give me 1 second. Let me maybe I explored the wrong. It's coming. Yeah, that's.
But they were gracious enough to allow me to continue to use their security system.
See him just sniffing and blinking it. Yeah, because he's lying. He's making this up. It's ridiculous. Remember, there's no electricity in there. So how do you have a security service with no electricity?
To protect the building until I transfer it over, which I must do in the next 30 days.
Yeah, I know.
So, if you live in Delaware,
why do you have 128 gigabytes of RAM on your system?
And that's why I've been saying online class would be viable because you get money coming from all over the country from different people. Everybody can't send their child to the school. Can at least have open for everybody. Online to get more donations.
And 11 on your video. What are you doing? You work for NASA? Oh, you do. Okay, you do CGI. I got it. I was about to say, wow.
Yeah,
but I never use more than a quarter.
Yeah,
I know. But damn, he's got 128 gigabytes of RAM.
VRM.
I remember I had like 125 megabytes, something like that, on my first computer that I had. And bragging rights on that one.
The first state Delaware is the first state of the United States, and it will be the first state for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. The state of Delaware will be for Black America what Washington, D.C. is for white America. The state of Delaware will be to Black America what Washington, D.C. is to white America. Where my Delaware people at? If you live in Delaware, where you at? Where my Delaware State University students are. Because I need a couple of brothers and sisters in Delaware to help me push the movement. But this is not only about Delaware, although I'm looking for Delaware, because Delaware has a new responsibility now. Delaware has a new responsibility because you are now the focus of the Pan-African world. We are now the focus.
Hey, he used to
Delaware is now the capital of Black consciousness. Where I go, so headquarters of Black African consciousness. So ridiculous. Where I go, so goes the headquarters of Black African consciousness. So whether you live in Dover, Delaware, whether you live in the beaches of Delaware, okay, whatever county you are in.
You said in the beaches. I know where the file is. I just was looking in the wrong place. 64 gigabytes and 12. Wow, why do you? But I don't see why you have to. I think my graphics card has what, 6? But why do you need 12? God, I mean, are you gaming? Are you doing hardcore gaming? What? 100 gigabytes? No, it is possible, but it's just like just be chilling. Okay, 300. Okay, that's fine. If we can get to 400 before the end of the show, okay, maybe we'll do a light drive. Who knows? It may not even work. But check this out. We're saying the question to ask is, okay, let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Okay. A more salient question to ask is, how much would it cost to operate a school at 610 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802? Ironically, the previous tenants of 610 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802, attempted to operate a charter school called the Maurice J. Moyer Academy. The academy opened in 2006, but closed in 2010 because of low academic scores. Later, in 2010, a new nonprofit corporation titled the New Maurice J. Moyer Academy, Inc. was formed.
He's showing you how the operation's going to be for Umar Johnson. And one of them, you can tell yourself is going to be viable for success. But you know, anything is possible for success, but just look at it. What the school already been through before he got it.
In Delaware. The corporation's goal was to open a charter school in September of 2012. See them shirts? Umar still has those shirts. The new Moyer Academy opened in 2012, but its charter was revoked by the Delaware Department of Education in 2014. The academy closed in the middle of 2015. Here is a condensed timeline of the Moyer Academy. Watch this.
Yeah, I cannot make some documentaries on your ass. You ain't want to play with him. I'll take a walk. Get your editing on there.
60s. We chose Reverend Moyer, given the fact that our theme of the school was health, science, and technology. Reverend Moyer being a pastor, therefore he's a healer. We thought it would be fitting to name the school after him. Also, Reverend Moyer, as he grew his congregation over the years, was very much involved in the community with children.
Earlier this year, the State Board of Education voted for the school to close after failing to meet academic and operating criteria for its charter renewal. Since 2006.
See, it wasn't just academic, it was operational, and part of it was the financial aspect of this. They didn't have enough children enrolled to justify it. So how's Umar going to do it? He's going to $500 a month. See?
Moyer students have failed to score at the state's average level. The Moyer Academy Charter School will reopen its doors this September.
You know, I can sleep tonight. I have been wrestling with this problem for a long time because almost 500 children and their parents involved.
My name is Dr. Stevenson, principal of the new Maurice J. Moyer Academy, located in Wilmington, Delaware. We service students from the entire Newcastle County, including Wilmington, Claymont, Newark, and Bear. Moyer is the only comprehensive high school located here in Wilmington. Currently, our students are engaged in an online instructional program. new for year 2012-2013, our students will be engaged in a traditional instructional program. Embedded within this traditional curriculum, students will be given the opportunity to select online classes. Every student will be instructed by a certified teacher. However, they will have an option to select online classes, which would include classes typically not provided by a traditional school, such as Chinese, such as advanced French, such as oceanography.
Come on,
This
now, don't do
sets
that.
Moyer apart from all of the other schools in the state of Delaware.
Deep fish in the
Also,
building,
like
family.
any other school, Moyer Academy provides
do
a
look like
wide
Derek
range
Pitt.
of athletic
This is a
activities,
principle.
including a football team, basketball team, volleyball team, track and field, and baseball. Our students will participate and compete against other high schools throughout the state of Delaware. We will also provide extracurricular activities for our students, like drum run, or percussion, chorus,
Carlos
art
Booth.
club, student council, and yearbook club. We feel that educating our students is not only
No, let's be nice.
supporting their
This is
academic
principle.
growth, but also their social growth. We believe that programs support their leadership and make them
And it's
better
one of the roughest
to compete
cities in the country.
at Moyer. We believe that parents
Murder capital.
in the education of our
And
students. As a result,
that's why them voters are the
provide
cheapest for.
parenting workshops.
More, you know, boy, but try to make that school work.
Exercise activities in the evening, including
This is exactly what Umar said. Did anyone catch that? He said the same stuff.
Yeah,
Zoom. And we will
yeah, that's
also
when boys be gonna take these styles and shit.
We doing Zumba, family. Wow.
doing extended hours for
Yeah.
You guys are so mean. Listen, you guys are so mean.
be the top school in the state of Delaware. With our small school environment that nurtures growth of our students, we believe that we will produce the most talented and highly educated students in the very near future. With our comprehensive parent involvement policies, we simply cannot be stopped. If we work together, excellence is clearly in our future. And last but not least, if you live in Wilmington, Moyer Academy is your local school. Please
Yeah, 'cause he copied
support your local school. Let's work together for the success of all.
The new Moyer Academy, we're in the process of really turning the school around. Our scholars are doing a great job.
Yes.
We've had over 30% growth during the 2012-2013
It's
school
a train
year.
wreck.
Looking forward to much more growth and productivity out of our young people.
Isn't that the tie that Umar has on? You're in Wilmington, wherever you are in Delaware.
People that
Yeah, I
we
think
have
we're married, tired, everything.
at the new Moyer Academy,
I'm just
Oh
saying.
my God, this is crazy.
ethical, and they are very productive, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to be their principal.
Fucking school feel like a motherfucker, man.
Successful career as a counselor and school administrator, Keaton University was on the path that could have led to working in some of Delaware's top schools. But after hearing of the troubles at Moyer Academic Institution, a charter school that serves about 200 students in Wilmington, Dorsey felt obligated to go back to his town.
I was like, why not? I said, I said, that's my old community. Those kids deserve something. And who else to give it to them but one of their own?
The 6th through 12th school has gone through 9 principals since receiving its charter in 2012. Dorsey says the difference between him and previous administrators is his ability to school that serves about 200 students in Wilmington. Dorsey felt obligated to go back to his hometown.
I was
200.
like, why not? I said, I said, that's my old community. Those kids deserve something. And who else to give it to them but one of their own?
The 6th through 12th grade school has gone through 9 principals since receiving its.
See that sector word? That's since receiving its charter, it went through 9 principals. And if they're talking about the second charter, that would be 9 in 4 years, a little less than 4 years.
Well, 9 principals, damn.
They're talking about the whole thing. I think it's 6 years or something like that. I would have to go back. I shouldn't even say that unless I have. I can go do the math. But it doesn't that speak to there is a serious issue when you have that level of turnover when it comes to principals, and that's just principals. There's more. That's just one little segment, but there's a whole lot more. I mean, I've done extensive.
But Umar Johnson gonna make it
Moyer
work.
Academy, and
He gonna make it work.
To it trying to prove that Moyer Academy was incompetence. That's not what I was doing. I was doing it to figure out the financial viability of Umar opening up a independent school that is tuition based. If they can barely get 200 children for free, how many students is Umar going to get with how many students is Umar going to be able to get at his fake school when they're paying $500 a month? See, that's what I was going for. I was looking, and then that's when I started researching, pulling up documents of their budget and what their plan was.
People in that neighborhood got to be able to afford that shit.
Third,
Yeah, damn sure about
sound
that.
familiar? And then they were going to expand out. Sound familiar?
Yeah, shit.
I don't think they started. I think they started to expand outward. Well, that's where Umar got that from. Same thing with Umar talking about.
They can identify it, ain't gonna be no school for black boys after
that.
that.
Lights up, the Moyer sign. That's where he got that from. A lot of it, he just sources. You know, he says they're going to have a computer lab. Well, he says exactly that for the parents to come, and fitness thing in the gym. Well, that's what Umar said. The son just takes. Umar's taking it, and then he acts like it's something he's come up with. When I was researching, there's a lot more dealing with the Moyer Academy. There's stuff that I knew years ago about the Moyer Academy, but for legal reasons, I was like, I can't even mention that. But the point is that when I went into researching the Moyer Academy and the new Moyer Academy, because it's 2. When I went to research, it wasn't to show incompetence. You know, I wasn't looking, how many principals did they have? You're going to have 9 principals. No, that's not what I was doing. I was looking at it, trying to get an idea of their timeline and then the financial viability of a school like that. You know, what was their budget and how much money was going to go towards this? And I got all that research too. But then when I was watching these videos, I said, wait a minute, this is red flags. And I'm not here
I said my bad.
disparage anyone, but if you have a principal that is obviously struggling to give a basic presentation, it looks like he may even be reading from a teleprompter and he's struggling with it, that's a problem. That's a problem. And yet somehow we think that Umar's going to do it. And they had teams they had lawyers, they had people in the community that were invested in different political organizations. They had faculty and staff and teachers and all that stuff, and they couldn't make it work. How was Umar going to do it by himself?
By himself.
Charter in 2012. Dorsey says the difference between him and
I said that's my old community. Those kids deserve something, and who else to give it to them but one of their own.
The 6th through 12th grade school has gone through 9 principals since receiving its charter in 2012. Dorsey says the difference between him and previous administrators.
Yeah, since 2012. This video was. You hold on 1 second. I'm about to go get they said since 2012. How you gonna have 9? Umar purchased the property in 2019. They were vacant for many years before that. Watch, I'm gonna go get it right now. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me.
Beating up the
principal. I'm being rude. It's insane. No, this can't be right. This cannot be right. See, that video is from 10 years ago.
So, wow, 2 years?
Yeah, this video came out 10 years ago. Yeah, but maybe it was recorded. It had to have been recorded because if it, there's no way. There's no way. I gotta go look at my notes. That's what I really do. Let me let this play, and then we're gonna get back to the other video. I apologize.
Is his ability to understand some of the underlying issues that affect student progress.
You're talking about financially. You're talking about just the regular social issues of parents or siblings selling and using drugs. The majority of my students are struggling with coming from a fatherless home.
He says those personal issues have taken a toll on grades.
Our students tested at it between the kindergarten through 4th grade level, which was very startling to me because this is a 6th to 12th grade school.
With a background in school counseling, Dorsey came up with a plan to provide structure, safety, and a sense of belonging at Moyer. He replaced 90% of the staff and switched to a block schedule to allow more instruction time for each subject. Although it's early in the school year, Dorsey says they've seen vast improvements in the attitude and participation of students.
We're over 95% attendance rate. I tell the students, you need to be in school. You need to be in school, not just be in school on time. You come to school at 8 o'clock. The next thing, discipline is actually lowered. This time last year, there were 8 fights in the school. There's 0. You can walk the hallways today. The hallways are quiet.
While the changes have been positive, it might not last long. Recently, the State Charter School Accountability Committee recommended to revoke the school's charter because of poor academic performance. Dorsey's hoping they'll give his plan a chance to take effect.
I want all my students to go to college. I want all my students to be able to see a goal and also map out a blueprint for the students to get to the goal.
A final decision will be made at the Department of Education meeting on October 9th.
The academic performance and the trends the school is showing cause for action. While the public record makes clear the school's dedication to improvement, my decision must be based upon evidence and not intentions.
There it is right there. It closed in 2015. This is a rough draft too. I actually have another version where I have voiceover, but I didn't export that part. But listen, check this out. In the news report, they said since the charter was in 2012, right? Remember I played that? Hit the 1. Well, it closed in 2015. So in less than 3 years, they had 9 different principals. That's 3 principals per year. It was less than 3 years. Let's just say 3 years. 3 principals per year.
One of the most roughest neighborhoods in the country.
It's really 2 years, but anyway. Well, I tell you,
that's why the budget.
Yeah, that's
so
really
cheap.
what it is. It's 9 principals from 2012, 2014. And somehow we think that Umar is going to do it by himself, and he's going to be charging children $500 a month. There's so much more to. I tell you. Anyway, here we go.
You need to hit me up if you are in Delaware. You are serious about nation building. If you live in Delaware and you are serious about nation building, whether that is FDMG, whether that is Team Pan African, whether that is BPA, whether
he's good at a lot to say things like, if you're serious about something, then you got to do this.
It is
tragic that you ain't serious if you ain't paying him. You just ain't serious about nation building, brother.
Tragic. It really is, and it goes to show you that and I don't mean to say it this way, but it already, even before Umar came onto the scene, we're talking about children who were not being properly serviced, okay, in terms of their education. Way before Umar, again, it's an impoverished, it's a disadvantaged neighborhood, impoverished neighborhood. They were already backs up against the wall, but then Umar comes in. This reminds me of something real quick, Dre, and then we're gonna get back to it. We're doing on time. Yeah, we'll go for another hour. Another aspect of this that is tragic, and I've talked about this before, is that when Umar acquired these buildings, we're watching the video now where he makes the school announcement. That was in February of 2019. During that time, the EPA, they came out and they were in that area, that whole area, the Brandywine district, I believe that's what they call it. And they were assessing the land and the buildings, and they were looking for, EPA is dealing with the Environmental Protection Agency, so they're looking for toxic substances. That can be asbestos, that could be lead paint, but also they look at the grounds themselves, meaning, are there any brownfield catalyst sites? Are there any brown fields? Okay, that's where there's toxic substance, and because that was the whole area. And I've done extensive research into this. That whole area was an industrial, like mining town, but they also those buildings, they used to be used as a chemical plant. The buildings that Umar purchased prior to the Moyer Academy, that's what they were, and they converted them, and they had tanks underground, and that's why there's no basement area under these buildings, because they were tanks under. They had to pull the tank up.
So they got children on top of.
So they repurposed these buildings and turned. And I've said it before. If this was a white neighborhood and they had the toxic chemical plant, they're not going to convert that into a school for white children. No. And you guys know I'm not all into the racism stuff. But doggone well that would not have happened. So even that. What the point I'm getting at is that even before the Moyer Academy came on, Umar came onto the scene, it was already a bad situation. But here's the thing. The buildings themselves were problematic even after they were repurposed, because the EPA, just prior to Umar acquiring these buildings, they did a survey, and I can pull up the document right now. They did a survey and they assessed not just the property that the land that these buildings sit on, but the surrounding area. This is part of the gentrification, because they're trying to figure out, okay, what's the status of all these.
They've been lying from day one.
Brownfield sites are sites where there's toxic substances, and again, it was an industrial town for decades upon decades. And so a lot of the residuals of that toxic substance seeps into the groundwater, it seeps into the soil. There's this one in the report. There's this one area where they said that the land was, and it's not too far from where these buildings, Umar's buildings, that the land was so toxic that they could not build any structures on them where humans would enter or inhabit. And that the only thing that they could do, and they could only recommend, is that the land be paved over and turned into a parking lot. So, you put pavement on top and then you can park cars on there. That's telling in of itself. But get this. When they do their assessment, they identify these brownfield catalyst sites, which is even deeper than just a brownfield. That means that a source of the toxicity, these are catalyst sites that or where toxicity is sourced from. And part of the reason why I think is because the land itself, that they repurposed it for the previous tenants, right? But the Moyer Academy, they wouldn't have done that if this was in let's say a rich white neighborhood. They would have never done that. And one of the buildings, and there's land too, but one of the buildings that they classified as a brownfield catalyst site was the buildings that Umar purchased.
Wow. So I'll go about 30 minutes more.
Brownfield is property that is either contaminated or people think might be contaminated. Common examples of brownfields include former gas stations, metal planting facilities, and dry cleaners. So if the EPA, which is the government agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, they come and they assess the area and they say, this isn't just a brownfield, it's a brownfield catalyst site, it's a problem. Now here's the buildings, and we've seen it in videos. Which is next door, and they could turn it into a whole new facility and a whole things down, and then turn it into, beautify the area, turn it into another aspect of the park for the Boys and Girls Club, so children can have, play and all that kind of thing. How many students would he have to have enrolled? Let's say let's just use a charter school number. If it's 17,000, how many students would he have to have enrolled in order to get to $6 million? But see, Umar, and he says he's not getting any government grants or anything like that. It's not even financially viable. It's impossible. Right, and he knows that by now, but he don't care. He don't care. Thanks, Victor, for the stats. I always like the stats.
Yes, you get massive donation.
Okay, if I'm missing any super chats, I apologize. We're going to go for another, hope you guys are enjoying the show. We'll go for another 48 minutes. Yeah, he's going to have 5,011 students. Moyer Academy couldn't even get 200. You barely can get 200. You can't even fit 5,000 students. Come on. You can't even fit 500 students in there. It's not financially viable. What is he going to do? Get 200 students in there, and then what? Everything else is the other $5 million is going to come from donations each year. Y'all gonna really have to get on them cash out for that. Y'all gonna have to really get on that PayPal and the Cash App and the go for all of that. Really, it's not even financially viable. It's not gonna happen. All right, let's get back to it. Here we go.
Unapologetically African movement. I need you to text me 215-989-9858. Again, 215.
The only two numbers of the world I remember is Huggs and Mike Jones.
A whole bunch of quick money.
215-989-9858. If you are
you're right about that.
serious, sisters, this is not about no dating. This is not about no mating. This is not about no relationship. If you're interested in Dr. Umar, don't text me. This is not about that. This is about building a future.
You always got to bring that up.
People. The Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy of Delaware will also be the international headquarters for Team Pan-African. It will be the international headquarters for the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. But we're not stopping there. So Delaware, let me put it out right now. I will be holding a private Black Delaware family meeting. I will be holding a private Black Delaware family meeting. I will be holding a private Black Delaware family meeting on Thursday, February the 28th at 7 p.m. Thursday.
Okay, and this is one of the only things that he actually completed. He actually did have this particular meeting. Okay, and I have a whole list of all the promises that he kept probably, but he only completed probably about less than 1% of them.
February the 28th at 7 p.m. If you live in Delaware and you want to come to that meeting, please text me and I will text you the information. This is only for Delaware. This is only for Delaware. You must be an African who resides within the state of Delaware. It doesn't matter where you live in Delaware. It doesn't matter where you live in Delaware, because this is hashtag BDM Black Delaware Movement. This is hashtag BDM the Black Delaware Movement. There will be a meeting from 7 to 9, the last day of Black History Month in Delaware. There will be a meeting from 7 to 9, a confidential meeting. It is not a lecture. It is an opportunity for me to introduce myself to my Delaware family, because I will be moving. I will be relocating to Delaware. And for those of you who live in Delaware, if you know of some places I might want to consider moving to, home or apartment, please text me that information. Help your brother out. Help me get acclimated.
He never moved either. He never moved. By the way, a catalyst site is a high priority brownfield site. And not just a brownfield site, but it's high priority based on brownfield catalyst sites.
I don't want no opportunists. I don't want no coons. I don't want no haters. I don't want no opportunists. I am looking to build a strong, close-knit group of revolutionary Pan-African nationalists in the state of Delaware. If you are one of them, then you need to be at the meeting that's going to take place on Thursday, February the 28th at 7 p.m. If you need that information, 215-989-9858. I will not be calling you. You will contact me. 215-989-9858.
He been on his high horse that day.
In addition to the hashtag BDM Black Delaware
ready to take over the world.
In addition to the hashtag BDM Black Delaware movement, under Team Pan-African, there will be a special initiative. Under Team Pan-African, there will be a special initiative.
Under Team Pan-African, we know. 3 times.
Known as the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic Movement.
God damn.
The Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic
How many moves we got? My nigga can't keep up with all his damn movements.
To organize brothers and sisters who live in the Mid-Atlantic section of America. We are approximately speaking of Connecticut down to DC. Connecticut down to DC. If you live in New York, if you live in Connecticut, if you live in Pennsylvania, if you live in Delaware, if you live in Maryland, let me say it again. If you live in the state of New York, if you live in the state of Connecticut, if you live in the state of New Jersey, if you live in the state of
Familiar
Pennsylvania,
states, man.
if you live in the state of Delaware, and if you live in the state of Maryland, those 6 states will make up the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement of Team Pan-African. And if you
So we got
live
BMD,
in one of those 6 states, I repeat,
BDM,
Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania,
MA,
New York, New Jersey,
M.
okay, and Connecticut, if you are interested in being a serious part of the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement, which seeks to organize Black folks in those 6 cities of the Mid-Atlantic seaboard.
Yeah, none of this happened.
Yeah, no, ain't none of that shit happen.
He chose Delaware because it's easier to maintain nonprofit
You
status.
talk that
The
shit
only reason
every
one
day
board
in
of directors,
Connect.
which is himself. Yeah, I know. I've actually looked into this too. Not the board of directors part, but yeah, a lot of companies or
corporations get
incorporate in Delaware.
yeah in Delaware.
Because the guidelines and the restrictions and the blah,
Corporation
blah, blah, it's a lot easier than in other states.
register.
That's very true. It's been known for that for like decades now. I remember reading a book and it was about starting LLC, and they had suggested that the best place to incorporate would be in Delaware for the reasons that some of the reasons you express here. But their rules and regulations, the laws are very lax. So there's a lot of companies that's where they set up shop. Thanks for the super chat. I'm gonna make sure I get caught up on all these super chats real quick. Robbie was bragging earlier. He said he has an AMD Ryzen 7. Okay, they're okay. 3700U, 16 gigabyte RAM, 250 gigabyte. What are you doing, Robbie? Working server. Well, okay, I get that. If I wanted to be there, they're made for labors like production, quote unquote. I will be going up. Yeah, I got this from Victor. Thank you so much. And then Barry says, aren't sites like that are part of the EPA super fund, meaning highly toxic? Yeah, I would have to go back and look at the actual document. I don't recall them saying that it was part of a super fund. I can look it up though and find out for sure. I don't remember that terminology, but it was a brownfield catalyst site, which is different than a brown. I mean, all of it's bad, but for them to do that, they classified it as a brownfield catalyst site, and that's around the time that Umar Johnson purchased it. That just goes to show you, it's just not a good situation altogether.
That's why he gave for the Lolo.
He had to do something. He had to purchase something because GoFundMe was issuing refunds, so that was the best that he can do, I guess. But here we are 4 years later, there's still no school. I mean, even though, because there are people who can argue and say, well, they let Moyer Academy and J. Moyer Academy be in those. But yeah, okay, I get it. But I wouldn't have my children up there over here. If the EPA comes in all these years later and they do an assessment and say, listen, this is a brownfield catalyst site, you think I'm gonna have my children up there? I wouldn't even be up there. Thanks, Barry. Here we go. Then you need to get in contact with your brother. I need serious New Yorkers, not Hoteppers. I need serious New Yorkers, serious Connecticut family, serious Jersey family. I need serious Maryland family, serious Pennsylvania family.
To everything he seeing,
because those 6 states will become the epicenter of the movement. Delaware is the capital of the Black conscious movement, but the 6 states will become the epicenter. Delaware is now the capital of Black consciousness, but those 6 states will make up the epicenter. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware. If you are in one of those states and you are serious about helping your brother, get with me. If you have previously hated, you cannot be a part of this. Anyone who has spoken against the school, anyone who has ever spoken against me, anyone who has ever liked to comment against me, like the comment against the school.
I know I would already, but I used to laugh at his ass every time.
But how does he know all the people who have
give you? I don't hold grudges. I love all my people. But anyone who has hated me or this, you are not allowed in my school for the rest of your life. You can't come to an event. You can't come to the Pan-African Youth Conference. You can't come to the Black Women's Fashion Show.
And he already thought he had this shit. Yeah, fashion show.
Groups. You can't come to the think tanks. You can't come to none of the formals, none of the parties.
The man already created a whole reality behind it. But when you do stuff like that, you keep it to yourself, you know. Speaking like that, like you're real.
You can't come to the yoga class. You can't come to the fitness center. You can't visit the Pan-African Library. If you have ever hated on me,
I know it's ridiculous, but you see how he says the fitness center? Well, he got that from the J. Moore Academy. I played that, okay? from Derek Fisher.
Anyway. Or my school. Your ass is not allowed. And if I catch you loitering,
he is so childish.
Right.
If I catch you
around my campus, we have 4 buildings, brothers and sisters. It is a campus. We have 4 buildings, brothers and sisters. It is a campus, and I'm going to upload the pictures right after this live feed. Now, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey.
Yeah, you forget about the haters.
I'm talking to New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. If you are sick about being part of the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement, you need to bring me a resume to the Bronx next Sunday, or to bring me a resume to Hamden, Connecticut the following Saturday. The Prince of Pan-Africanism will be speaking in the Bronx. I will be speaking in the Bronx for the first time, Boogie Down Bronx in New York, Sunday, 1 week from tomorrow, Sunday, February the 17th. If you are interested in being part of the Mid-Atlantic Marcus Garvey movement of Team Pan-African, if you want to be a part of NIBPA, whatever it is you want to be a part of, then you must.
What, Umar? He gets so distracted so easily. Yeah, he really does. Because see, the thing is that this had been going on for such a long time. So when he finally gets it, it's almost like this is mine, nah, kind of thing.
Right.
If you said anything bad about me, you can't come into my fort. That's what it reminds me of. They're very childish, very petty, just emotionally. I don't know what the term is.
The point where he just tried to show off the people who say he couldn't do it, so throw together something.
By the way, here's the let me do this.
Now it ain't for the children, it's for the show off.
Here's the EPA report right here. You see this?
You can get back to the video because I'm about to shut this off.
What is it? They boarded up reuse and
Tomorrow,
development of many of its former manufacturing,
we're gonna do guided meditation
industrial
and meditation,
utilizing potential redevelopment through the existing conditions
to put you in different states and sleep,
including an assessment of
manifestation and
viable and neighborhood appropriate reuse
meditation.
strategies for several sub areas, but they couldn't get in contact with Umar.
And chakra
No
work.
2 areas or sites are the same, whether it's a majority opportunity to provide public
I'm supposed to do that tonight, but
this is a really interesting document.
I haven't read it.
And I've read through all of it, but there's
I'll do
sections
mine
in it that
different
specifically
from
talk about
everybody
those
else on
properties that
YouTube.
Umar Johnson purchased. In fact, let me find it real quick. I think it'd be apropos just to read to you what specifically they said about these abandoned buildings. And Umar knows this. He knows this.
Shout out to everybody who in the building. Got the like. Everybody who gonna be watching later. YouTube from the search bar. Umar Johnson reaction. Lenon Honor reaction.
Actually, here, let me let this play because we run out of time. We got 30 more minutes. Y'all hit the like button. Yeah, let me do this. Let me see if I can find it while I let this play.
Shout out to us.
Bring me a resume.
20 minutes.
Email it, but bring it. Because those who show up and support my events, okay, obviously, you're leaving a good impression. Those who come out and show up and support my events, obviously, you're leaving a good impression. We got 2 lectures coming up for the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement of Team Pan-African. We got 2 lectures coming up for the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement of Team Pan-African. You got the Bronx on February the 17th, and you have Hamden, Connecticut, okay, on February, what's that date again, brothers and sisters? That's February the 23rd. So you have the Bronx on Sunday.
They keep related to Philip Douglas breakdown.
Saturday,
they keep related to
you got Bronx
Kevin
on
Durant.
Sunday, February 17th, and you got Hamden, Connecticut on Saturday, February the 23rd. If you are serious about being a part, an integral part of the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement, and you live in Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut,
New Jersey,
you have the opportunity of getting a jump start and being a part of my movement by bringing your resume to one of those 2 lectures that I will be holding in the next 10 days.
Okay, real quick. Here are they identified 4 Callis brownfield sites.
People to travel like that.
Was divided by, included the largest of the 3. 9 there within the girls' club. Now, associated with the property transfer coordination with the new property owner.
Talking about the EPS
not
readings.
Bronx lecture will be at St. Helena's Church. The Bronx lecture will be at the St. Helena's Church, Sunday, February the 17th at 5 p.m. Sunday, February 17th, 5 p.m. Doors open up at 4. All children free, all elders free. College students, $10 with ID. All children free, 17 and under, all elders free, 65 and older.
Yeah, and let me correct myself too, because I want to be factual. A brownfield catalyst site, I give a definition of that, but a catalyst brownfield site is a site that has issues in terms of toxicity. It doesn't mean that it's a source of toxicity for other areas. So I want to be specific, clear about that, but that it has issues, but that it is lined up, and it could be lined up in the short term to be mitigated or transformed into something more viable for the community. And that's why they suggested to tear the buildings down and then have it repurposed into a sports facility for the Boys and Girls Club. So I just want to be so specific about that. Earlier I said something else, but I was reading through this and I just want to be clear about this. It doesn't mean that the site itself contributes to the toxification of other sites or has, but that it is a toxic site, but that it can be repurposed and mitigated to a certain degree to where it can be transformed into something that will benefit the community. Because this whole area-wide plan was really about like a level of gentrification. It's interesting. Umar talks so bad about gentrification, but he, at this point, I'm sure he's aware of this. I think this is why he's trying to hold on to those properties. I really do. And then just flip them, you know? Okay, I just want to clarify that because I don't want to give any misinformation.
College ID, full-time college students, $10 with ID. Same thing in Hamden, Connecticut. In Hamden, Connecticut, we will be there
that's what he's doing, Dominique.
Saturday, February the 23rd in Hamden, Connecticut. Let me pull that up. Saturday, February 23rd, 4 p.m. Doors open at 10.
I can't.
4 p.m.
Yeah, you can't do it now.
Doors open at 2. Excuse me. 4 p.m. Doors open up at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that back up and play it because it was, boy. I said, Father David, boy, he a mess. Oh, you don't get the rock on top of me. Thanks,
that will be held at the Whitneyville Cultural Commons Sanctuary, Hamden, Connecticut, Saturday, February the 23rd. The Whitney Cultural Commons Sanctuary, 1247 Whitney Avenue. Get your tickets for the Bronx. Get your tickets for Connecticut at Dr. Umar Johnson .eventb.com.
Yeah, who's going to listen?
Dr. Umar Johnson .eventb.com. So when you,
by the way, he doesn't use EventB anymore. He used Eventbrite, but he would schedule event, would pay their tickets, and then he would cancel the events and not refund them. So they kicked him off there. He went to EventB, did the same thing, and they kicked him off of there.
See the hashtag BDM, that's the Black Delaware.
Yeah, that is lectures. All you do is talk about a bunch
BDM,
of
that's
rhetoric.
the Black Delaware movement. When you see the hashtag MGMA, when you see the hashtag MGMA, okay, that's the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic, okay? Washington, D.C.
None of that is real. Nothing that's come out of that.
You're automatically included with Maryland because
I'll tell you a bunch of Black History facts you already know.
Maryland and Virginia. So Washington, D.C., when you hear Maryland,
you know,
that includes DC,
generalize everything.
D.C. is partly made up
He
of the original
if he angry at white people.
Okay? Now, some of my brothers and sisters in Massachusetts are saying,
go
Doc, I
against
want to
them
get
'cause
down.
people got those
And that's what says, I wish
illusions.
Connecticut out of this mess. Out of his mess. We have enough issues with our home.
Guys, there ain't nobody stopping.
Yeah, but I just think he's saying that. Well, I'm gonna tell you why he's more interested in it, which is consistent with what he was doing before. Remember, he would go to Florida, and he would have a talk there. And then he would tell people in Florida, hey, listen, I'm looking for schools down here. And they would get excited because they feel like FMG is going to be there. So they'll donate to him because they think, hey, it's going to benefit my community. Okay. He had no intention of opening up a school in Florida. He did the same thing in the UK. Hey, what? Was he going to open up a school in the UK?
Right.
No.
They used to go overseas.
But the idea, and he would go all across the country telling people that he's looking for schools in Chicago, and people get excited in Chicago. They'll come out to see him, and they'll be more willing to donate. This is really devious. Hey, was he looking for a school in Chicago? Actually, no. But it made people want to come to see him who were in Chicago, so he gets more people to his venue. He can sell more books and people there, feeds his ego. But then when he starts, of course he's going to ask for donations for the school to purchase a school at that time, and people are going to give it to him because they think, okay, in Chicago, something. So he would go do it in New York, just whatever. So at this point, Jessica, he already has the building. So now what he wants to do is to get the people who are, because it makes no, it becomes easier to get people who are I don't even know, you can't even call it local, but who are closer
regional.
to Wilmington, Delaware, whether it is the next state over or the next 2 states over, to get them more interested, because the focal point now is in Wilmington. And so they're going to be more inclined to donate, because it's like, okay, well, it's closer to my state or it's closer to my city. Okay, let me go ahead and support this. So that's why he's throwing out Connecticut. He's talking about New York. Okay, he's talking about Maryland. Okay, all this, but that's strategic. He wants to get people who are in the general area. I know it's a large area, but in, let's say, the upper East Coast, to get them more involved with raising more money, because the school's going to be opening and it's close to where you are or it's in the next state over. So come on, we need your donations. That's why he's doing this.
Pretty much.
Okay? And of course, people from other states will still send in money, but he wants to maximize on the profitability of the people who are in that area and their interest in the school being built, I guess, near their city or near their state. That's what he's doing. So that's why he brings up Connecticut. Thanks for super chat, Jessica. Okay, let's go. Yeah, and homelessness is a serious problem. San Francisco, areas like that, homelessness in Seattle, it's worse. I tell you, it's okay. Here we go. Thanks, Jessica.
If you that serious, come on. Some of my brothers and sisters in Virginia, in West Virginia, they saying, Doc, I want to get down with that Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic Team Pan-African thing. If you serious, come on and get down.
He just made it up.
It's going to spread to all 50 states. Ultimately, it's going to spread to all 50 states. We are Pan-Africanists. We are about everybody. I just want to use those 6 states as a launching pad, as a foundation upon which we can organize all African people.
See what I mean, Jessica? See? I did not just call it. That's what I mean. He wants to. What do you mean use these 6 states? It's in Wilmington, Delaware. What are you talking about? See, hit the one.
Across the country and around the world, brothers and sisters. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy / Team Pan-African Headquarters. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy / Team Pan-African Headquarters. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy / Team Pan-African Headquarters will be the Taj Mahal of Black Power. It will be the Mecca of Pan-Africanism. It will be the Kemet of all think tanks. It will be the epitome of community organizing. And the beauty, brothers and sisters, the beauty
is that it's 4 years later and none of this has come into fruition.
The whole block belongs to us. The whole block belongs to us. We're going to call that Ifa Boulevard. We're going to call that Black Power Broadway. We're going to call.
Listen, he's literally making again, but he's literally making this up on the spot. That's incredible. That's what I'm saying. This guy, he's incredible. He does a habitual lot, but he's literally making this up. He's thinking about it while he's that. Prince Ifa Avenue.
Did I get them buildings, boy? Get the buildings, boy, please.
Delaware State University and University of Maryland Eastern Shore. If you are a student at Delaware State University or the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, if you are a student at Delaware State University or the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, get in contact with me.
Yeah, I know.
I want to come to Del State and I want to come to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and start organizing the college students. Back in the 1960s, most of our movements were led and organized on the college campus. I want to see if we have any unapologetically African students at Del State. I need to find out if we have any unapologetically African students at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and Howard University and Coppin State and Bowie State and Morgan State. You are in the Mid-Atlantic area. So all the HBCUs of DC and Maryland and Delaware, it's time to organize. It's time to organize. To my beautiful.
Listen, he about to go crazy now, but none of this ever happened. No organizations, none of that stuff. No organizing with the.
And then organize the cash up in his pocket.
Christian says, does he know that Taj Mahal is? No, I think he's just saying that because Taj Mahal, in terms of an architectural marvel, he wants to associate these abandoned buildings with some sort of architectural marvel.
Taj Mahal.
Christopher, I think in Umar's mind at that time, he really thought that he was onto something, that this was going to be like this mega structure.
Right.
And
you get the buildings and give them juice.
People from all around the world are going to just want to come to just be there. And that's where the idea of a sacred rock. Okay. You know, like in Mecca, the what you call it, I can't remember what that's called. But the same principle. Remember, Umar was also he was raised as a Muslim. Did you guys know that? Okay, and he said that his grandma was witness, and then someone else was Christian. So he has a mix of different things. But the sacred stone,
Umar Abdullah.
Right? I can't remember what it's called. Okay, no disrespect, but that's the same idea with the sacred rock. Yeah, the Kaaba. I'm sorry, I apologize. Please, okay. But the Kaaba. Well, that's what Umar, when he says the sacred rock, that's what that is sourced from. This idea that this is, I don't know, a holy land, and that this is the Mecca, and you know, the black consciousness, and this is a Taj Mahal. But we also have a Kaaba. It's the sacred rock. Wow, I've never really thought about it to that degree, but that's really what that whole idea is. And he says, "You want to?"
You do got a sacred rock or something. Tell you something else, man.
I mean, this is just delusion, you know. And here we are 4 years later. Back then, he really had it in his mind this was going to be some mega structure that people are going to pilgrimage to from all around the world. He really believes they're going to come to.
Yeah, we're all dreaming big, but
be part of this
we try to use that as a
movement, and they can come to the sacred rock. And
that's what's gonna get you more donations. Telling people that's
whatever.
That's what we're gonna have now.
What's his name said he wants to get it on
people
top.
donate, they want that shit. You gotta provide some form of
I said,
it.
Baba Data, if Baba Father, if you don't stop, you freakazoid. All right. Let's get back
to Mike TV salute.
Black sisters, I love you.
Here we go.
But you cannot be an officer in this movement. You cannot be an official in this movement. You cannot be a part of my inner circle if your hair is processed. I just want to call it like I see it. You can belong to the movement.
Sheesh.
You can participate in the movement.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's part of the Hajj ceremony. But the Hajj is a pilgrimage, right? Well, that's what Umar, he actually felt as if people are going to be traveling to these dilapidated buildings from literally all around. Okay, and then touching the stone embedded in the Kaaba. Yeah, this dude is taking from everybody. But remember, he was raised as a Muslim. Okay? Here we go.
You can attend the activities.
That's why his name was changed from Jermaine Shoemake to Umar.
But a project that big that he talking, this nigga ain't got no time to worry about nobody here. We need all the help we can get.
I had a question on this fine honey in college. Her last name was Abdullah. She was like from, I can't remember. She was dark skinned, but she was from like the Middle East. Yeah. You know, one time she asked for a ride home. I used to just wave at her, you know, that's all. But she said, okay, sitting on the couch. Then her friend came. Look at company, we working. You know, man,
let's skip a soccer.
Nice young lady.
Getting tired.
Going.
But I want to see some more of that video.
You can participate in the movement. You can attend the events, but you cannot be an officer. You cannot have an official capacity if you're not happy to be nappy. If you are not happy to be nappy, black woman, I don't care how conscious you say you are. As long as you still look like a white woman, you cannot represent the movement. Cut the damn hair off now. I got some clippers. If you want, I will come to your house. Dr. Umar will come to your house and shave. If there's a black woman in the mid-Atlantic Marcus Garvey movement of Team Pan-African, #MGMA. If you're ready to go natural, Dr. Umar will come to your house and shave you. I'll give you a Dr. Umar special. I'll give you a North Philly Caesar. All you got to do, Doc, I'm in Maryland. I've been weaving my whole life. I'm ready to go natural, Doc. Come and cut it off. Take it down to your level. Take it down to your level. Let me bust some waves like you.
Yeah, a lot of men who got a problem, a lot of my peers who got a problem with weave, I don't. That ain't gonna stop me from getting to know her because she got fucking weave. I ain't fucking with blonde either. If you look good, you look good.
You, Doc. Sisters, I will come
and petty shit.
Let's get some waves like we want.
Bald you myself. in the name of black power. Let me give you a black power Caesar to all the black women. We talk in Maryland, which includes
judgmental.
we talk in Delaware.
He'll be
we
mad
talk
if
in
people
New
be
Jersey.
judgmental
We
against
talk
his
in New
rhetoric.
York.
But he
We talk in
believes
Pennsylvania.
try to
We
force
talk in
on others.
Connecticut. Those are in DC
Like a
is included
religion.
with Maryland. Those are the 6 states that make up the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement. I want to organize those 6 states first. New York City, you helped to make me who I am.
See, 4 years later, none of this has come into fruition. Yeah, that's another thing about Umar. You know, black folk, we're a very diverse people, and some of us have different sized noses, different sized lips, different eye color, you know, hair, different hair texture.
Exactly.
I mean, we got hair
Too
textures all over
judgmental.
the place. But he I don't know what it is. I think for him, it's more to
Dulcie
demean.
Wilson, what's up?
That's really, and it's a means of controlling black women, because everyone knows hair is a sensitive topic, but he wants to condense it down to weaves and happy to be nappy, which in essence, I guess, is 2 extremes. But it doesn't take, at least from his vantage point, he always wants to deal with the 2 extremes, and then hopefully everyone in between falls in line one way or the other. But
Right.
I think for him, it just exhibits how he's not really cognizant. I don't think he even cares. He's not cognizant
He
of the
generalizes
fact that
things.
black
A
people
fraud
don't
always
have
generalizes things like that.
different hair lengths. You know, some grow really long, some can't grow it all that long. It's just part of the genetic. We're all mixed up genetically, so they're different genetic makeups. But he doesn't consider any of that. He puts it on this spectrum of 2 extremes. One is you have to be nappy headed. That's what he calls it. Happy to be nappy. And then you can't be
Based off his personal
having
likes
weave and perm and that kind of thing. You know, but what about black women whose hair is naturally straight? He doesn't.
New York City, you helped to make me who I am. New York City, you helped to make me who I am. And just like Marcus Garvey, the black.
We all have family members who have straighter hair. All of us do. I mean, you just have to look far enough and look long enough. You're gonna find somebody.
Star Line in Delaware in 1919, just like Marcus Garvey, who incorporated the Black Star Line Steamship Company in Delaware in 1919. He went to New York City to announce and launch the Black Star Line. 100 years later, his #1 disciple, Prince Ifa is doing the same thing.
Great percentage of
We
his
got the
women
school in Delaware
supporters
2019, and
could
now
be
I'm going
supporters
to the
with that dumb
Bronx
shit.
to launch it. I'm coming to the Bronx. So I want my Brooklyn people in the house.
How are you gonna launch it in the Bronx if it's in Delaware?
I want my Queens in the house. I want my Long Island, my Staten Island. I want my Harlem people in the Bronx, because New York must take a leading role in the Marcus Garvey Mid-Atlantic movement. I'm not talking no YouTube intellectual masturbation. If you are a YouTube addict, you are no good to me, because you don't want to do no work. You just want to sit on YouTube. Them Negroes ain't working. They not building
Said
nothing.
the
They're a
man
bunch of frauds. They never was
14
serious.
years later,
This is the movement.
who just
Here
did a
we are
bunch of
4 years later,
videos
and he hasn't built
on
anything. That's
Facebook.
another thing about Umar. We're almost done too.
Collect.
We only got through half of the video, so I won't be live streaming tomorrow, but maybe Tuesday we'll finish of all this. Was that he was going to build an institution? And the idea, I think, for him is to say
Yeah,
build.
he was
It
hilarious.
seems like it's more of a significant.
That's why I can react to him, because at least I get to laugh. I don't really react to people.
These broke down properly.
I don't really
Because in
got a
essence,
lot
he
of
hasn't
fucks to
built
give to
anything.
a lot of shit. But
I mean, even
I heard
the
teach
idea of
something.
building a school. Okay, that
Marvel.
sounds as if you're building, there's construction going on, and like almost
Learn
building
how
it
to
from the ground up.
meditate.
That's not what we have here. He purchased these trap bandos.
Listen to
in
some
Wilmington that
smooth
EPA classified as
meditation
brownfield
music,
cannabis sites.
jazz, something like
And then he's
that.
been slowly making
Go to sleep.
improvements here and there, you know, painting the outside of it, this type of thing, but nothing significant. But that's part of the allure of this, is the idea that he's building from the ground up. But that's not even the case. And then here we are 4 years later, and he still hasn't done anything. See? He hasn't done anything.
Ain't done damn thing.
This is
Like,
it.
might as
If you
well.
want to do something for
Like
black
he doing
folks,
now.
are you serious? Come to Team Pan African. Come to Team Pan African. It's time to get started. If you want to work at the school, get some resumes.
People take him serious because
Work at the
certain
school, those
buzzwords, Black,
Now, let me
African
clarify something,
American,
brothers and sisters. I need to say something that's very important.
Marcus Garvey,
I need to say
red,
something
black,
that
and
is very
green, commercialized
Well,
terms
first of
that
all, don't go packing up,
deal
moving to
with
Delaware.
heartstrings. History
Expecting
is
a
one of
job
those rabbit
because
hole
you ain't got
politics.
one yet. I want to.
Religion
I don't want you moving to Delaware
and
because you say, well,
gender.
you know what, I'm gonna work at the school. You don't
You
choose me, I
can
choose you.
create
Oh, this is
huge
so
channels
sad.
off those topics.
We got 5 more minutes. Okay. Let me just say this is so sad
Those
because
topics
there
are
are
heartstrings topics.
who moved out there believing that Umar was going to have a quick turnaround on this. Some believing that they were going to get.
And definitely a lot of older
but there
people
was
stuck
also,
in their ways.
some of y'all remember this.
They hear the word Black Power
She had
Africa.
a child that was
They
special needs
wallet open.
in the Philadelphia area.
Got their
And
nice
she ended
they
up
going to
moving
them lectures.
Wilmington,
They
Delaware
gonna tell
area
them.
in anticipation of
They
the
gonna
school
tell them shit
opening,
about the
and she
history.
wanted to enroll her son. Anyone remember this at the one? It was one of the saddest moments in this whole saga because she ends up going
Everywhere
up
he
to
says
these
he's a
properties
preacher.
and talking
Same
to
thing
Umar.
preachers do. That's why they get rich. Because
And
religion is one of those things.
it was
The
one
full
of
rabbit
the
holes.
most heart-wrenching things to hear because
Yeah,
it
people
shows
go
that
down
he
and get
does
stuck.
have influence and impact on people surrounding this lie of opening up a school.
Right. That's why I say he could have
And here
just
we are
been a
now. I
man who
can't
do
remember how long ago
seminars
that was, but it had to at least
and
been a year ago. But
documentaries
here
and
we are now,
DVDs and
altogether
shit.
4 years since he
Just
embarked
use
on that.
his word of mouth.
And they're still not open.
That wouldn't have been no
There's
problem.
still no
But
school.
this
And
nigga
that
trying
woman's
to
child is still
build
not
a
receiving the
damn
education
school
that she
for
hoped and prayed
children.
for. Look at the ones in here.
Accept
I'm
donation
not making
every
this up.
day.
This was one of the saddest moments
That in
in this
14
Umar
years,
Johnson saga when this woman
that shit is
approached him.
American greed status.
And was talking to him
$1
about
million.
how her plan was to get her son enrolled. I would really wish I could probably find the video, but it is one of the saddest things, and then he's so dismissive of her too. It's one of the saddest moments in this whole Umar saga. But that just goes to show you he does have influence over people. And then to hear him talking like this in this video.
You don't choose me, I choose you. Don't do that. Now, if you move into Delaware because you want to be a part of the movement, move to Delaware. But if you move into Delaware because you're expecting a particular official capacity within this movement, don't do that. Because I don't want you to become a hater if you don't get what
he
you
already
need.
talking
If
like
you're looking for official
everything
capacity,
done.
wait until you get it if you get it.
Stop
But if
it
you just
too
want to be part of the
probably upon the
movement,
earth.
then come on down.
Y'all, I sent my
You shouldn't
resume
do.
7 years ago and never even received a thank you. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people who sent resumes in and didn't get any kind of response or anything like that. But that's just, the whole resume thing is twofold. One is to get people's personal identifiable information, including a picture, because he always talks about that. And if he reads to your resume and it might appear to him as if, let's say you have resources, financial resources based upon your job history, and then he looks at your picture and maybe you're fairly attractive. Well, he'll be sure to contact you to try to see if he can get some of that money, maybe get some of them draws. But on the other hand, what it does is it provides the illusion of progress. It makes it seem as if he's business minded and he's handling business behind the scenes, and he's going through these resumes to select candidates that would potentially be teachers at the school or counselors at the school or school psychologists or whatever the case may be. You see? But here we are now, 13 years into this, and not one teacher has been hired. 4 years since he acquired these abandoned buildings, and no teacher has been hired.
Motherfucker can't even turn the lights on that bitch.
No grounds.
Water.
Because it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
And he
brothers
just
and
been
sisters.
on
This is
Breakfast
it.
Club recently.
1619, 2019, we owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to our people. We owe it to Trayvon Martin. We owe it to Sandra Bland. We owe it to Tamir Rice. We owe it to
heartstrings talk. You ain't down for those people if you don't fuck with them.
Walter Scott, Freddie Gray.
This is just to trigger emotions in people.
We owe it to our ancestors 400 years, and it's time to take the psychological shackles off, and we're going to do that, brothers and sisters. And let me say, once we repair this building and restore this building, it's brand new in the inside.
Somebody like me,
we got to restore it because it was
based off the way I perceive things like history and politics and different things in life. I know top if I talk to this nigga, I ain't cool. Because I don't give a fuck what these niggas be talking about. I don't group think. I think based off how I perceive it. And that's how everybody should be. So I know for a fact I ain't cool if I talk to this dude.
Was damaged, but brothers and sisters, modern. We don't have to worry about asbestos. We don't have to worry about
Too many
lead
people
paint.
care
We don't have to
to
worry about
try to fit in
asbestos.
something.
Yeah, you can repeat it, but it doesn't make it true. Remember, the EPA put out a report, and they couldn't even identify when was the last time these buildings were inspected and what
And
types
next
of
thing you
toxic
know, they
substances were
separate their
inside.
money
But they classified it as a
from their
brownfield
pockets
cannabis site. So what is Umar talking about here?
to the hands of a
We don't have to
scammer.
worry about lead paint, brothers and sisters. The movement is going down now. I can't say everything on this internet. That's why you need to come to the Bronx. I will have a question and answer session at the Bronx lecture. I will have a question and answer session at the Connecticut.
This is just a way to get more people out there in the Bronx to come out to talk, to see him and get more money out of it.
Answer, excuse me, at the Connecticut lecture. If you have direct questions, they will not be answered by text. They will not be answered by email. Direct questions will be answered face to face, Bronx and Connecticut. I will not answer them on the street. Please don't.
Yeah, Lauren, I get that. I don't believe everything he says, but the message I believe. But the thing is that his message is contradictory. It's hypocritical.
See, you believe in what quote unquote message.
I mean, do you believe in that message? On the other hand, he's called for, saving black boys. You believe in that message? How can you call for the murder of black boys, but also talk about saving black boys? See the contradiction? So I think to be more specific, you should probably say, and you would probably say, I'm just thinking rationally here, you should probably say, I don't agree with everything he says, but but some of his message I believe. Okay? Now, what I would say is that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But hold on.
Everyone like their own cup. Everyone got their own cup.
Because there is no school and there will never be a school. He's collected millions of dollars.
Oh, ain't no problem. Someone just pay him, but they like we see.
13 years now. So that's what I would say. There's nothing wrong with believing in people. As long as you got to believe in the right person, but you also have to be clear about what it is that you believe in and what it is that you don't believe in. And as far as I'm concerned, if someone says that we're going to murder 10% of black boys, these thugs on the corner, these are his words. We're going to put them to sleep for good. I can play the audio, or I can play the video of these statements made by Umar. If he says something like that, I don't really care. Me personally, I don't care about any other thing that he says, whether it sounds nice or not. Because anyone who would propose that it is a legitimate strategy to murder black people, in particular black boys, that's not someone that I can support. See, because if a white person said that, will we believe in them? No, we would call them racist. See, we would call them a white supremacist. You see, but somehow Umar says
I don't agree with everything he said, but the message I believe in. Don't ever speak like that. Don't like you want to say now. Be clear, because the message that could be anything that's ambiguous. Wherever he want to put as his message, that's what he can put in there. And you already saying you believe in his message. So wherever he define that as, that's what you believe in. And you already just said you don't believe in everything. You say, okay, so don't just put it out. The message. There ain't no such thing. Unless he explain what that shit is and define it.
About what aspects of his belief in, and then the other aspects, you got to be clear about those too. But when someone says that they want to murder black children, I don't care anything else that they have to say. It's insignificant to me, because indiscriminately murdering black children is not a solution, and it shows a lack of care and a lack of respect for black life.
Stupid ass solution.
I can't support anyone, even if they have some other things that they say that I may necessarily agree with. You see.
Never
so
agree no
again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Because which parents gonna
right
off out their children because their children is white or bad? Who gonna be the judge of the percentage, the bad percentage that gotta get killed? Who will be the judge? Which parents gonna agree that shit? It's stupid. He's talking about.
You want to believe in and believe in aspects of the.
And it gonna be bad based off who the young niggas that he don't like personally. That's gonna be based off her personal dislikes for niggas. Not in concrete.
The message, but just be clear about the aspects of their message that you don't.
Again, generalizing.
And more specifically, Lauren,
the mouth of a person who's a fraud
on their schools. Yeah.
When they generalize like.
Put it towards something else. If you have children, do something with it for your children. You know, support a black-owned a school that is servicing black children.
Right.
Already.
We'll give it to a school already doing what he's talking about. Plenty
it's
of
nothing more than a scam. It's fraud. It's going on for 13 years.
Yeah. Doing it to them.
don't think you're going to roll up to Dr. Umar on the street, okay, and start asking me questions. Excuse me, family. I don't answer questions on the street. I have events and you can ask questions that way. If you care that much, bring your ass out. If you care that much, come on out and get your answers. But you won't get them this way. I want to be clear right now because I don't want you to get upset with me. Okay, when you catch me in Harlem walking around before the lecture Sunday, when you catch me in Queens walking around before the lecture Sunday, when you catch me in the Bronx walking around the lecture Sunday, when you catch me in Brooklyn walking around before the lecture Sunday, and I don't answer your questions, don't get upset because we're about to get real serious now. Because a lot of you Negroes are coons. I sat back for 4 years and watched y'all drag my name to the dirt.
And here we 4 years later. Okay, we'll end it right there. We're already at
movement
of 3 hours.
On Sunday, February 17th at the Bronx. Deliver us our first. I was up in Harrisburg. Almost none of you came for me. This fundraiser, one thing I'm looking for right now, brothers and sisters, I need someone to drop shit. We don't have to worry about lead paint. We don't have to worry about asbestos. We don't have to worry about lead paint. Brothers and sisters, the movement is going down now. I can't say everything on this.
Before I listen to you, Umar Johnson, I watch one of my old shit.
I will have a question and answer session at the Bronx lecture. I will have a question and answer session at the Connecticut at the Connecticut lecture. If you have direct questions, they will not be answered by text. They will not be answered by email. Direct questions will be answered face to face, Bronx and Connecticut. I will not answer them on the street. Please don't think you're going to roll up to Dr. Umar on the street.
Umar Johnson versus Lenon Honor, a reaction by Sacred Grove.
On the street. I have events and you can ask questions that way. If you care that much, bring your ass out. If you care that much, come on out and get your answers, but you won't get them this way. I want to be clear right now because I don't want you to get upset with me. Okay, when you catch me in Harlem walking around before the lecture Sunday,
people donate to a fucking school, they're gonna have questions. You should have a FAQ and a website and all that shit.
When you catch me in Brooklyn walking around before the lecture Sunday, and I don't answer your questions, don't get upset because we're about to get real serious.
They give us fucking
because a lot of you Negroes are coons. I sat back for 4 years and watched y'all drag my name to the dirt. I sat back for 4 years and watched y'all talk about how I ain't got no degree.
And we gullible as hell.
Really?
You got degrees. Okay, we're I want to get to the hour mark, so we're gonna go 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I'll just let it play. That way to be easier for us when we come back. And I think we'll come back Tuesday or Wednesday, okay, to finish this up.
I sat back for 4 years and watched how y'all said I was stealing that money. Really? Okay, I saw you, so I know how petty we can be, brothers and sisters. If you have a question, you can ask it on Sunday, February the 17th at the Bronx lecture, or you can answer on Saturday, February the 23rd at the Connecticut lecture. Please bring your resumes if you're serious about being a major part. I need people I can trust. I need secretaries, I need publicists, I need web designers, I need flyer designers, I need brothers and sisters who know how to do apparel.
6 in the morning.
Okay. One thing I'm looking for right now, brothers and sisters.
Music, meditation.
One thing I'm looking for right now, brothers and sisters. I need someone who can drop ship my merchandise. Is there anybody black within the Mid-Atlantic Marcus Garvey movement that has a dropship company? In other words, when somebody orders a book from Dr. Umar, I need to send you their name and address and you can ship it for me. When somebody orders a Nat Turner hoodie, I need to send you their name and address and you can ship it for me. When somebody orders an official FDMG Team Pan-African shirt like the one I'm wearing, I need to be able to send you their name and address and you can ship it for me. If there's anyone within the Mid-Atlantic,
why can't you just do that for yourself? I mean, a lot of this is
the Sacred Grove.
Set the website up. You can have someone else set the website. You can manage that, but he's not tech savvy. It's all automated.
Starbucks.
I mean, and it's not recent. All right, someone places an order, you get an email, then you go and you look at you can go into the back end of the website and you can get all their details, everything. Right, you can even print their label out from the website, and it just prints it out. You know, it's nothing complex, nothing crazy. Anyway,
Atlantic movement. If there's anyone within those 6 states who can help Dr. Umar drop ship my merchandise, send me a text message, please. Better yet, show up in the Bronx or Connecticut. I need help. I cannot do this on my own, but I need people I can trust because I don't have any friends.
2 more minutes.
I cannot do this on my own, but I need people I can trust because I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends. I have associates. I have fellow organizers, fellow revolutionaries, but a friend, I have my mother.
We'll leave it right there. We're gonna leave it right there because that's telling. See, part of this, and this is one of the reasons why it's hard for me personally to
outro
accept Umar as someone who is a, let's say, a quote unquote alpha male. That's what the terminology he uses. If you have to use that terminology, that's it's not necessary. Anyway, that's his terminology. New stuff. But it's very difficult because the truth of the matter is that he still lives with his mother and has for over a decade. And the last two times they were
video, so I expect this
time,
video to be pushed out to people who searching for Umar Johnson's content and reactions.
Collecting all his money and living in filth. Remember, he flipped the phone, living with his mama at that time.
I want you to show us the people.
He was living with his mama in this video. But see, the truth is that he said he has no friends. He has a established relationship.
Dad.
Like significant, meaningful relationships.
So do your job.
That's why even you can be honest, even romantic, meaning
show me
relationships with women, intimate relationships, if you will. He has a very different time committing and that type of thing. So he basically runs students back where he sexually exploits and has been doing this for a decade. But the thing is that the nature of Umar Johnson's mother, it's one of dependency. He's a dependent. He's dependent on his mother to provide him with a stable place to live. And then he claims the title of primary caretaker. And I'm gonna say it because we watched it, but I don't like speaking on this. But they did a wellness check on his mother, and he answers the door. She is there, but he says that she's not there. And they ask him who he is. He identifies himself, and he basically tells that they've extended the hours of care for his mother, and that he's the primary caretaker. But see, all that is really his dependency on his mother and the stability that she provides for him. But see, that's a stability that he as a man should provide for himself in the first place.
I have to make like short documentaries.
But he's unable to do that because he's in a state of regressive development. He's like a child. He is, in essence, dependent. And it's not just a dependent on his mother, but also dependent on the people who support him, because maybe he says some things that they like to hear. But they will defend and support him. Some will send money, some will not. And recognize that it is up to us to forge ahead in life as a man. And you can't do that when you're dependent. You're dependent, and your mama is in essence taking care of you, even though you say you're taking care of your mama. That strong pivot also means that you have to develop relationships, meaningful relationships outside of just I want to crush cookies. And that means commitment. And that means building a relationship with a woman, assuming that you're heterosexual. Has Umar done any of that? No. So it's hard to take him seriously as a man.
Right. But
see, I think some people take him seriously simply because of the rhetoric and him running his mouth. But that's not substantive. What is substantive is what you do and how you live. And here we are 4 years later, and Umar still has not done what he promised to do, which was to open up a school for Black boys. Here we are 13 years later since he's made the announcement that the school was going to open in 2013. And he still hasn't completed the task. It's very difficult for me to take him seriously as a man with all these factors and many more to consider.
Good morning.
You see? So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we'll be back. I'm not going to live stream Sunday and probably not Monday. We'll probably be back on Tuesday and Wednesday to finish up, Tuesday or Wednesday to finish up this video. And then the next weekend, we'll get back into the swing of things. I got 2 other videos to get to. Dealing with Umar Johnson. Thank you all so much for tuning on in. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you can hit the like button before you exit, I appreciate it. Thanks everyone who sent in super chats, super stickers, and also I have PayPal link and what is that called? Cash App links listed down below in the description of this video. And as we always do,
support the content creators. Go sub out to Lenon, and this will be the end of our reaction. So I'm play. If I'm okay, if I'm about to be done into this outro. Play commercial. Play commercial first. Okay. Let's play the outro and we out.
My magic potion for love.